Alright, what's up, y'all? I'm Sabrae.
I'm Yatta.
I'm Sean.
And this is
No Disclaimers Podcast.
Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Patrice Live. Patrice, introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Patrice Live. I am the DMV's and R&B's self-proclaimed Wonder Woman. I'm a singer, dancer, and entertainer, I like to say. And so I am hailing from the DMV. I've released my second album a few months ago, and so I'm just pushing through, trying to become a trailblazer for the DMV music scene and really take it to an international level. So
yes, well, it's so nice to have you here today.
I should just roll with that. I should just roll with that.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, bio.
So we're gonna get into some of these questions first and foremost. But before we do that, how was y'all weekend? Y'all doing good?
It went by too fast.
What is what? Oh, it's a commercial.
Mildly burnt.
Sorry about that, you guys.
Yeah, I was wondering why your heart was
I was like, Free Willy. Don't you know that's when Willie, right before?
No, that was no.
What's that?
That was My Heart Will Go On.
Oh yeah, you're a selfish bitch.
Said,
I hate the movie. Go ahead.
Are you gonna beef over the door?
No, the 4x4.
Yeah,
that was a door?
It was
It was?
It
Yes.
was a door.
He was
Selfish.
wild for sticking
That
around.
wasn't real love.
Hit, dog.
Yeah.
Why are you still here?
Yeah.
Save yourself.
Save yourself.
It's crazy though. She was all right. Let's.
No, she wasn't. She was engaged.
Even super wild.
No, she was
Yeah, it
17.
was wild.
Oh, so it's always an excuse when it's
She
women.
was 17.
All right, cool. It's always.
It was a forced arranged.
It was
for
a
money
forced
ass
arranged marriage. It
Gotcha.
was forced.
Yeah, of course.
Don't
Yeah.
disrespect bro.
All right. How was your weekend, Yada?
It was
Truth, how was
like
your weekend?
fast and burnt.
Fast and burnt.
Yeah.
My weekend was good, and my weekends always end good because I end up with you guys.
I knew he was gonna say
that's so
some fake
nice.
emotions. Don't believe
So
Well,
nice.
technically, this is the beginning of the week, so
No, Sunday's the weekend. I don't care what the fuck you say. Sunday is
it's just
the
what
end.
it is.
Okay.
So is there really only one day of the weekend?
Technically, because Friday's the
is a
weekday, so yeah.
Right. So that's what you're telling me?
Sunday is the beginning of the week.
I'm just saying, so does that mean there's only one weekend?
I guess so.
Wow, motherfucker.
But no, that's how it feels
Everything's
because like
right.
Friday, you still gotta
y'all
work.
right. I'm just being an asshole.
I know,
Perception is
but only
everything.
towards me.
That's a lot.
Consistency is key.
Yes.
I respect it.
I had a pretty good weekend, too. You know, what did you do this weekend, Patrice?
Oh my gosh, this weekend was crazy actually. I just came from a photo shoot earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, y'all, I don't know, I can't even keep up with my days. Yesterday, I had an interview in the morning. I had to sing the national anthem at a breast cancer walk. I went to a songwriting expo.
At the harbor?
Yeah.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
okay.
And then I had
Did you
went,
kneel or stand? No, I'm just
girl, don't tell me it was rocks on the ground, but I was like, that's a whole nother thing because it's very hard for me.
we'll get into that.
You see how she
But
tried
yeah.
to throw that neck?
No, but you know, it was a struggle because I was on call for a minute with the University of Maryland to like sing at all their games like last year. And for a minute, especially in the heat of everything, I just like, I can't do it, you know? So I don't know, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, my weekend was busy and I had a gig last night, so I was tired, got home at 2 a.m., woke up at 6 for my call time. So yeah, that's why I have the raspy going on.
Gotcha.
It's all good.
Yeah, I can't get that last note in that national anthem.
Yeah.
Just gotta go baritone on that job. Like, nah, it doesn't. I gotta go low. I can't go high. It doesn't average out for me.
What part? I know you said you're from the DMV, but where are you from exactly?
So I grew up in Glenarden.
Oh, you from the...
She a
Glenard,
Glenard. She is a First of all,
Glenard,
Yeah.
with no R, but an AH.
Oh, so you
Right.
from the hood.
Yeah.
y'all gonna have respect for my motherfucking
Okay.
okay? CH Flowers,
Glenard.
class of 2004.
That's right.
Prom queen. Know the girl. Know her.
Yeah, I grew up in Glenarden. My parents actually met like years ago in Glenarden, so I grew up in Glenarden.
What, their hoods was beefing or something? It was like some Romeo and Juliet stuff?
It kind of was, because back then I think it was like the
Maple Ridges and
apartments and the
Glenarden.
houses,
Yeah.
and they lived in the different
Yeah.
sides, but yeah, so.
Glen Reed, Glenard, he was like,
Yeah.
he said,
Uh-huh.
hate him.
That's
Well, yes,
exactly
shout
right.
out to Glenarden, you know.
Yeah.
That's I got a lot of roots there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of roots,
We
My
used to fight
grandma
them in the
used to-
go-go all the time.
My
Oh,
grandmother
my
still lives over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still live over
We know.
Well, I left and came back. Shut up.
Well, so how did you get your start in music? Like, what made you pursue music? Obviously, Yatta was telling me that you've been in the game for a minute, so.
Yeah, my grandfather's a gospel singer. He's in a quartet group, and I think they've got their first Grammy. I'm so proud of him. He's a Grammy nominated gospel singer. I can say that now.
Wow, that's dope.
Okay.
So he's been singing for 56 years. Yeah. So grandfather's a singer. My mom can sing. So a lot of people in my family are in entertainment. So I grew up in it. But, by 2 years old, they were like sing. I think the first song I learned was like Superwoman by Karen White.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah. So once my parents kind of saw that I wasn't like afraid, they put me, so I did the whole like the pageants, Tiny Miss Maryland, all that kind of stuff, all those kind of kiddie auditions to be on the shows and stuff. And it was kind of up and down over the years because I've done a lot. Like I've been a background singer, but I've also like been a studio session singer. So it's a lot. But I would say, like most people say, since they were young, and definitely started in church. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to sing that song all the time.
I used to order on the box.
Really?
Remember the video? It was black and white.
Yeah, yes.
Nigga, you ordered
getting in trouble.
Superwoman on the box though, of all the videos.
See, that's why men can be
you
open
was
about.
ordering? That's a random childhood request. Though,
I meant I put them on the glass. That's what I meant.
So what you was getting? You was up there getting vested
That is
too.
funny.
Congratulations.
Wow. Sing a little piece of it though, Sean, real quick.
Go ahead. I would love to hear it.
No, because you guys hurt my feelings.
No.
Next question.
For real?
No,
Okay,
because now
okay.
I'm shy.
He sang it a little bit.
Yeah,
I know. I want
I
it.
can't do it on command. I gotta
Okay,
do
you
it
gotta
like
feel it.
when I'm in the car, shower. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Pretty much when no one else is around to suffer from it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Or when no one wants it, that's when he'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're on the road. Keep going.
But no, let's get on
one
the
hilarious Omar episode.
I know. Now she thinks she's a comedian. Has to get these little jokes in.
That was a joke. See, it wasn't even a joke in y'all life. So
No, she did make a
You guys
funny
be the
off
judge of
camera,
that.
but I'm not gonna mention that right now.
Go ahead and mention it, Yatta.
The little nickname you gave.
Oh yeah. No.
That was
We're not gonna mention that.
hilarious.
As let's proceed to get through the corny stuff. You know, these interviews, especially when you're kind of like an emerging on the scene type of artist. You got to get the cheesy stuff out the way.
Right, for
You know what I'm
sure,
saying?
for sure.
So, cheesy question number 3.
There we go. Get it out the way so we can get to the meat of it.
Who's your biggest influence
That's
in
tough.
music?
That's
Me,
tough.
sure.
It's like a conglomerate because really what I look at is not so much the music now. It's like work ethic and like what artists are going after. So you, of course, have like Beyonce. For me, though, it's not just entertainers. Like, I love T.D. Jakes. It's a certain amount of people in my hands that, like, they take what they do and they own it, and they own what comes with leadership. So for me, the music is just a vehicle, right? Like, I love doing it, but that's not really my focus. The focus is being a leader and then assisting other people with understanding what their purpose and passion is. So I look more at leaders versus just, I like this person's song, I like this, I like that. So to me, Beyonce is a leader in that her thought process and her work ethic is unmatched. Bishop T.D. Jakes is a leader in the way that he delivers messages. You don't have to like him, but you can look at his influence on other people and see that he's able to touch people. James Brown, he was known for being like a very strict taskmaster. Yeah. He was very particular. I love Billie Holiday because there's a part of her that was like very, like if you ever read a story about her, she went through a lot of stuff and I can relate. So it's not so much the music, but they inspire me within what I'm doing in music, if that makes sense.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
You mentioned James Brown. He was also known to be very business savvy.
Yeah.
Nobody was able to really, jip him out his money like that. So that is a good way to look at that as well.
Yeah.
And then the T.D. Jakes thing was interesting.
Yeah.
I don't follow him that much, but I'll just take your word for it.
Well, I'll say
like
this:
TD
a lot of people, me growing up in the church, right? And I'll be completely transparent. So growing up in the church, you are privy to the other side of things, right? So you're privy to the nasty side of it. And so as you see it for like a minute, if I'm honest, like maybe I'm like my late teens, early 20s, like I had a problem with the church as a whole. And I really had to like come full circle with my relationship with God and how it's separate from the church. I also had to look at the church as what it is. It's not really meant to be a place that is perfect. It's run by people. It was never intended to be perfect. It's like a hospital. You go to the hospital because you're sick. You don't go. I go home when I'm healed, right? But at home, you go to the hospital because you're sick. In the infrastructure, you find that you have to then hold yourself accountable. So it's the same with the school system, right? We could talk about teachers all day or say it's a school system, but then you have to say, well, how involved am I in the school system? Right. So how do I critique it if I'm never involved, if I'm not on the board that votes for the pastor's salary? I'm saying he's got a jet, but I'm not really a part of it to know what's happening. Right. And he can't you can't make me do anything. You're one person. You know what I'm saying? T.D. Jakes, to me, the only reason that, no, not the only reason. I'm not a fan of his, but the reason that I say that I look at church in a different way now is he is a businessman too. And there is nothing wrong with being, like, why do we hold somebody like Bishop T.D. Jakes to a certain standard, but not Diddy? Diddy can have a plane, he can inspire people, he can employ people, but T.D. Jakes can't do the same. Now, I understand the spiritual realm, but he's still a man. So just like you want to take your woman out on a nice date, why wouldn't he want to make money off of not the church, but like if I write a book, just because I'm a pastor doesn't mean I shouldn't make money from what I went to school and I studied and I had this concept, I developed it, I wrote it, I published it. Why? Because I follow God, why shouldn't I? Or if I write a movie, you know, so it's a thing. But my thing is they have kids, right? Like he wants to send his kids to college too. Like he wants to take his wife out too. You know?
I don't think people have a problem with T.D. Jakes having a plane. I think it's more so like Creflo Dollar. Who's like,
well, I'm gonna shut up on that part because that's I feel together.
First of all, don't trust no nigga named Creflo.
Because he's more like donate so I can have me a private jet.
I think
for the ministry of the Lord.
The top three from I would say T.D. Jakes, Joyce Meyer, and there's an up and coming pastor named Pastor Michael Todd. He's based out of Oklahoma. Oh, and there's another one, Stephen Furtick.
Have you ever gotten any pushback, from doing that secular devil music?
Nobody's ever said anything to me directly. But, the way I handle that is, it's funny, all of my friends are church musicians too. So I had that battle for a second. I was like, maybe I'm, and my producer, my longtime producer and collaborator, Kevin, was like, listen, I love God or whatever, and I play drums on Sunday, but when I'm trying to have sex with my wife, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm trying to hear something else. I'm like, okay, I'll make music for you and your wife on Monday night, So the other thing is like everything as I've gotten older, I was telling a friend this the other day, I think when you get to a certain place and a certain age, you become aware of yourself. So it's okay for women to have like sexuality. Like it's so crazy that it's not a thing for people. You either have to be like very coy or very like brazen and loud and just, and I'm like, I'm not either one of those. I'm a sexual woman, but I'm not a hoe either. And that's okay. Like I can sing about what I want to sing about. And all my songs are not about sex and all of that. Like there's range to it. So.
And we're not knocking any hoes out there. If you want to be a hoe, everybody got their roles. You hear me?
If you want to be a hoe, call Sean. It's like, no, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding.
You are so disrespectful.
I'm just joking. No, but I do think that was the case for a long time. Do you think it's kind of changing, though? Because you have people like the SZAs or, like she's not, the perfect image type of, but she also has sexual music, but then she also has like real life music. You think that's changing?
I think it is. I think it's because women, you see across the board, women are speaking up and out now. So we're making sure that like, okay, we're not getting lost in the sauce anymore. Like you're going to hear us roar. And I think it's a beautiful thing. But I also think that, I think it goes back to truth, right? Like, own your truth. Like, women are not just these little meek and mild. We don't have to be one or the other. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, even for me, I'm a Wonder Woman boss, but I'm actually a very traditional woman. Like, I like to keep my house clean and cook for my man and and all of that. I'm very traditional. However, when I'm in a boardroom, I'm not afraid. I will rip your ass down if needed. So I think that it's just we're making room for ourselves to be both, and we don't have to choose. And if you don't like it, too bad.
Oh, yeah.
People gotta grow up, really, when it comes to that type of stuff, because everybody wants to act like women are supposed to be so timid, but it's like, how the fuck you think you got here?
Yeah, right. I did something, but on the same token, like we also, because I feel like women felt like we had to do one or the other. We either had to be super timid and be like, or we had to be like loud and brazen and just exactly. I don't think you have to do either one. I think you can just be who you are, and it's okay. That's what it is. What you said. It's okay now to be who you are.
So you mentioned you spoke of cooking for your man. Are you single? Or do you have a man?
I am single.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying, throwing that out there because I don't want people to be putting it in our DMs.
I'm not.
They definitely are.
Don't ask me to hook you up. I'm telling you right now. Me, Yatta, and Sabrae, we would not answer any DMs. Okay.
Now wait a minute. Hold on now.
Well,
y'all
if
need
they
to filter that. I was gonna say you don't let him near it. Y'all filter that now. Wait a minute.
Nah, see the thing. No, they don't DM me. They DM him.
Oh, okay. Oh, well then you need to be a good filter. Are you a good filter? Are you a good wingman?
He just tells all the niggas.
He
literally
all out of here. Thank you.
Yeah. No.
Oh, see.
Maybe. No.
Yeah, see.
Go so no.
Perfect for me.
No.
I just say hit her up.
No, man, it's so weird. What's so hard? Like, first, my nigga, ask her, hey, I'm interested. Offer to take her out, pick her up, or give her the option to meet you there. And niggas pay at least the first 3 dates. It's not.
See, hopefully like, knowing these niggas be ugly though, so he'd be like, no. He already know I'm gonna be like, no.
Right.
No,
so
I think.
So you
not to get off track, but I hate when guys be like, ew, like you know if another guy's attractive. Come on,
sure,
now.
no,
like,
that's real. I appreciate you saying
like,
cute as shit,
right, but you know, like, oh, okay, like you know that. I appreciate.
I won't even say it like that. You know, like. If you know him personally, what type of values he has? Does he bring something else to the table than looks? Right. Can he put himself together? His job, you know, does he bring in money? Does he believe in God? I mean, like certain stuff, like the basics. Yeah. Anything else, and I tell niggas, I'm not going to put you on. I will put you in the situation where to put yourself on, because I've put guys on with female counterparts of mine, and then when it goes sour, I don't.
Yeah, you in the middle.
You know with that fuck boy?
Yeah.
I tell you all the time. Yeah, nah, y'all. Yeah. No.
But I feel like my male friends are very, like, I mean, I grew up with a lot of men, my brothers, my father, like, so I
don't play when it comes to women surround my cousins, friends, co-workers. Like, I feel like men have to do a job in protecting women, especially from like niggas who are like, cause I've been there. I've definitely matured. I ain't never like sexually assaulted people, but like I definitely been in and out and not had approach women with not good intentions.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But
so
see, I don't know. Now I'm in a weird space. I mean, I do get approached sometimes, but and this is not to say it in like it's not a cock, like I'm not proud of it actually, but a lot of men in this season of my life don't know what to do with me because I have 2 children, so I still work. I have my own business and I'm still doing this, so I'm busy. So to me, you can't really approach me in a regular way.
Gotcha.
And I personally don't make time for anything that I don't feel is like worth it. So if you show me off the break, like what you doing, like, and then even my schedule is weird. Sometimes I'm probably like the fuck boy because I'm busy. So if I see you, like it wouldn't be like I'm gonna pick you up at 7. You would have to ask me what I'm doing, and I'll be like, we can meet downtown after my gig at 11:30, and you gotta kind of be with it if you want to spend any time with me, because I'm definitely in like a very focused mode. So it's a little hard with me. So I don't even bother most
nice
of the time.
To work for these niggas.
No, men swear they want a woman that's busy, don't got idle time until they get one.
Don't.
And then it's like, this bitch ain't never got no goddamn
right,
time.
exactly.
Then they on Twitter, you make time for what you want to make time for.
You know somebody been hurt. Anytime somebody says that or they post on IG, you're never too busy. You're going to make time for what you want to make time for. I'm like, oh, stink.
Oh, who did his thing?
But you know what? If someone matches what you're doing, I personally would date someone who would know how to approach me to say, like they're just as busy, so to speak. Like there's a time when we'll adjust and make more time. If it's somebody that you want, that's true. You'll be like, oh, okay.
You
like,
gotta put the work in though. You
do.
can't
Like I'm not adjusting my life for you. I don't know you, and I'm busy. So but I do feel like if a man understands, I won't have to tell you, hey, I got a gig. He'll say, listen. You going to the grocery store, like the best date I went on, this was way a long years. I was at Walmart and I was grocery shopping and we had the best time. I was busy. And so he wanted to spend time. So he met me at Walmart and we were in Walmart for like 2 hours. I got done what I needed to get done, but he just made the effort. It didn't require, I ain't saying take me to Walmart on the first day, but I'm just saying,
if he paying for all this. You paying for
you paying for the groceries?
If you paying for everything, I need extra toilet paper. Yes.
Hey, you just gave me an idea. That's a date.
Quick question. So I gotta.
Okay.
So do you do the self checkout at Walmart?
Sometimes.
Do you still?
Do you?
No, I don't still.
Scan. Oh, I forgot. Scan.
No, because let me tell y'all something. I'm super clumsy, but I'm also the person that would be the one to get caught.
Gotcha.
I'm telling you, that's Mark. That's why I don't even do stuff like that. Because I'm going to be the one.
Gotcha.
Or I'm going to be the one to walk out of the Walmart and they be like, let me check your ticket. And I'll be like, no, I'm not good at it.
I can't do it.
You know what's wild, though? When Instagram had the little questions game, someone asked me that. Do I steal from self-checkout? I'm like, first of all, yes.
Yeah, I'm not.
Don't be asking.
No, seriously, I want to be completely honest. I'm a thief. Not like from people's houses, but like when I'm purchasing 2 Gatorades at 7-Eleven and my son wants, the candy that's right in front they can't see, I just, here, take that. Or I just have my kids pick up stuff because like my youngest son, everyone thinks he's cute. So like, they don't say anything to him.
Yeah.
Nigga, take this Slurpee and walk out.
That's funny.
Shoplifters. Look at
Yeah, I cannot do it. I can't. But you don't believe in karma, though, so that's
I believe in that, too. And
do.
I'm like, what? And it doesn't come, karma doesn't always come back around. Like, just because I stole toilet paper, somebody's going to steal mine. It's like, oh, I stole toilet paper, and then my tire was flat on the way to an important meeting at work, and I had to pay $500.
My karma was when my coupons didn't scan that day. I was couponing.
Yeah.
And I had to pay full price for all my shit.
And if karma does exist, it might skip me and go straight to my children. So that's nothing.
I believe that though. I tell men that all the time.
Really lining up the can. He hoping it's skip him and go to the
that shit don't got nothing to do with me.
Like, Bino fell at the playground today. I mean,
I believe that though. I believe karma will. Sometimes it does not come back around. You don't get to control when and how. It will come back to your children and other areas.
In my defense, I haven't stolen recently. But I do job.
Recovering.
No, they put the monitors up.
I'm the nigga that if I accidentally walk out with something and I'll be like, nah, I gotta go back and pay for that.
Let me tell you something.
If I know that if I got all the way home, I'm gonna be like, damn. But I'm not gonna go drive back. But at least I know.
But like, you didn't intentionally do it. Yeah.
I used to work at Walmart. There's 2 people looking at the cameras. Okay, they can't look at every camera. They look at the aisles to see if people are like physically putting stuff. So you think how many registers there are? It's not that many cameras. They have like the people walking around.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking for people stealing. So trust me, they can't see that if you. That's why you have to scan.
But I don't
feel like the thing tells you.
Telling you, please take the item out the bag. Bitch,
yes. It does, even when you're not doing it, or don't think you scan something and put it on there. That's why I don't have time. Yeah. I'm the one that I tried to steal one time when I was younger. It didn't work.
Yeah, loss prevention got me back in the day, but I mean.
Or this is what you do, right? I'm giving y'all a little lessons.
It was Walmart too.
No, see, this is what you do, right? You scan. You buy the items, right? But you do scan the item that you're going to later steal, right? You put it back, but you put it back in your bag, so then it's not going to even beep when you walk across. And none of those old ladies are checking your receipts. You think they're checking 47 items? No.
They just highlighted, like, they look like, all right, he got like 8 bags. This look about right. This seem about right.
I mean, he showed me the receipt. Shit, if he was stealing, he would show me the receipt.
Yeah, they don't play that shit at Costco. They're going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4.
But you ambitious as shit if you try and steal from Costco. Are you playing too much?
I'm not. I would never.
I used to run it up in Walmart.
The only thing I've done at Costco is like when I was using somebody else's card, they started cracking down on you being able to use somebody's card.
That's some big shit, right?
But I wanted, their pizza is big. My kids had a sleepover and it's like $10, so I wanted to buy a few from there. Yeah. So I just put my card. I was just like, but it was on my father's face. I was like, and just walked in and bought the pieces cash and came back out. See you later. But they won't play. The lady checked me and was like, "Ma'am, we told you this last time. Stop coming back up."
So you don't steal, but you're manipulative. Gotcha.
I'm like, first of all, when you start checking the picture, bitch.
I just needed to get the
Nah,
picture.
now you just be like, I'm trans.
I was just gonna say that.
I look like my father.
Yeah.
First of all, address me with the right pronouns,
Yo,
bitch.
old women look like their father. It's scary.
I look
Because you be like,
my
yo, you
father.
look like a man, but you're beautiful.
Yeah, if you put a bun on my dad, it would be
Yeah.
me. Like,
Gotcha.
I had my father smile and everything.
Yeah, you could be like,
oh,
how
that's
dare you
too
discriminate
funny.
against a
I just get a
transgender
piece of
person?
wigness next time.
Or if you're in
That might be
Safeway,
good.
just
You
put it
don't
at the
want that
bottom of the
smoke.
cart. They can't see it.
But
And then you act like you
forgot.
forgot
I
that it was on the
accidentally
bottom.
took some water out one time because it was at the.
I hear you.
It was on the bottom, and I just forgot I was brushing, and I was
Gotcha.
like, I'm not going all the
I
way
accidentally
back.
forget
Right.
every time.
I cannot with you, Sean. I can't.
I used to run it up in that Walmart, yo. And we got caught.
How old are your kids?
7 and 5. My son is 7, and my daughter's 5.
Oh, yeah, you got to protect it. That's dope. I always wanted,
Yeah.
if I had the door, to make sure I had my son.
Yeah, I
before
wanted
that.
my son first, but
Yeah.
she's
That's so
a pistol, so I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
usually when I'm pulling him off, it's me pulling her, because he knows he can't hurt
Yeah.
her, so it's usually her bullying him and bossing around, so I don't know.
So how is it balanced? And you said you have a business. What kind of business do you have?
So I'm a marketing consultant,
Mhm.
so I have 5 clients now,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically do, like, marketing strategy for different businesses, so that's like one facet. Sometimes I'll get calls to do like short-term projects. Like right now, I ain't gonna lie. Like the last couple of weeks have been taxing me because I have 2 contracts and they're like 6 minutes apart and they need me on site. So I go to one from like 9 to 1. And I go to the other one from 1:30 to 5. And then I'm back home taking care of my kids usually, so it's a lot. But yeah, I'm a marketing consultant. So
And do you still maintain a regular job as well?
so that is the regular job, so to speak.
Okay,
but
good.
in
'Cause I'm like,
addition,
how the
yeah,
Getting
but when I had a
hours in the
job,
day.
when I was in the corporate world, I was a senior marketing director with a trade association, and then before that, just a regular marketing manager. I was still doing this at the time at the beginning, and then I was still working a second job, and I had 2 clients, but now I just expanded to 5. Girl,
Good.
it's harder. Entrepreneurship
Oh,
and
yes.
like it's harder.
Wonder Woman,
Because
for
you're
real.
only accountable to yourself. You have to make your time count. It's a lot. I work way harder as an entrepreneur and singer.
Absolutely.
So I have that, and then I do what we call agency gigs. So all these rich people that have money to blow, they hire bands to come out and sing. So like that was what I did last night. It was like this rich people. They had a wedding, and you go and you sing for like 4 hours, and you make good money. But
Yeah.
so in addition to everything else, so it's a lot. It's a lot, child. It's
Yeah.
a lot.
Do you charge extra for white people? Because, that's why I always suggest that for people to charge a white tax because that's our form of
white
reparations.
Let me say this.
I like the way
White
that
tax.
sounds.
That's
I would
like you
just
go
say
around
that
Monopoly. Like you go around.
Say that out loud.
I won't say anything. I'll just say that I gladly take the money.
Gotcha.
Right.
You know, black people
Legally,
always
I'm
want
sure you
discounts
don't. I'm sure you don't. You don't do that.
No,
that damn
no.
shit. That's only for me.
So, Sabrae, you got any white clients?
I did.
You did.
Yeah. Probably my prices were too expensive.
She a try.
Your price. I'll be joking, but you know I'll be joking when your
No.
No,
Their
for
price.
them.
I'm like, that'll be $75, sir.
You just trimmed my mustache.
You gotta get it where you can. You just gotta tell them it's
Inflation.
Gotcha.
Inflation, sorry. Sorry, Tommy. It's inflation.
I was looking for that discount. Hey son, man, I got 15. How many songs can I get for that? Like, niggas going.
Listen.
Like, first of all, you can't even have the rest of this conversation. Like, niggas gonna try
Yes.
to lowball you.
Yes.
Get your money, girl.
I'm just saying, you got to do what you got to do. Wonder Woman. How long did it take you to create that project?
Well, I actually wrote the original song for Wonder Woman like 10 years ago. And all the stuff that I'm talking about, I wasn't doing any of it. Like cooking a meal. I wasn't married at the time. I didn't have kids, nothing.
You've been married?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I was married and now I'm not.
That's why.
That's all. That's
right.
the.
I was like,
She just talked about it,
in the
Sabrae.
beginning. I got 2
How long
kids
were
out
you
of it
married?
too. I was married for 6 years.
Did the person support your career as far as your
Yeah,
musical?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Interesting
So 6
story.
years?
It'll come out
Okay.
in music one day. But
Okay.
yeah, I was married.
right.
Hey,
So
that's the thing about like an artist. if you're an artist and you've been in a relationship, it's going to get stories will be told.
You know what's weird? So you know how like Taylor Swift and like Adele and I mean even Beyonce and Jay-Z, right? Like being transparent. So I'm weird about it. Like I talk about stuff, but I try to mask it a little bit.
Yeah.
I have this thing about like exposing people. Like I if you've shared an intimate space with somebody, I don't really believe in like exposing them or trying to put it on them. First of all, because if they grow, right, you don't want to be responsible for trying to like put them down forever and say like you did this, you did that. And that's not to say that I ain't never wrote a song about it. I'm just saying I'm particular about how. So I'll never be direct and be like, who the fuck do you think? You know, it's never that, but it'll be little things that I'll say that honestly only they would know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, nobody else would really know unless they knew.
So if they listening, it's going to trigger them, but
they will feel it,
else.
And nobody else. And then sometimes I mix things when I write songs. I might write a verse about it might be the same topic. I might write a verse about myself and then something about my friend. Because I'm a movie person. So I watch a lot of TV and movies. I like storytelling. You know, I appreciate people like Biggie Smalls or like even Lil Wayne. I was listening to one of the songs off his new album, Mona Lisa, and he's walking through the whole, and I'm like, shit, like I'm loving it because he's telling a story. Yeah. So I'm big on that, and so in my songs, I try to kind of do the same. I like people like Jasmine, they concept songs, they talk about stuff, but I mix my shit in there every now and then with other stuff.
With a coworker story or a friend's story or a couple of
because
lines.
At the end of the day, I mean, like I said, I feel like, especially with me being married, right? Like I feel like there's still a level of responsibility that I have for this person where I think it's kind of whack. It's just like having a friend and then y'all not friends no more. Now I'm gonna tell your business. Like, and that bit,
and you think about the kids too.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the other thing.
Do you think he would do that to you though?
Who knows? But I have to, it goes back to what we were talking about, right? Like, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard.
Sure.
And it's so hard, right? Because even now, I'm not even close to where, you know, I want to be in terms of, you know, my career. But I felt it. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, this album came... in the middle of this album is when in the middle of creating the album is when my marriage ended. So some of these songs were about the other side of my marriage, and now they're not. So there's a mix there. So I had to kind of push through in one of the hardest seasons, and it's still a little hard now. I had to kind of push through that to get to creating this work of art. And I'm like, I didn't feel like a fraud. I just feel like shit. Like what I was thinking about 6 months ago is not valid right now.
Right.
Or it's not that it's not valid. It's just not happening.
But it was genuine when you wrote it.
But it did happen. Yeah.
But that's good artistry, though. Like, that whole amalgamation of, like, the fictional accounts and your true accounts.
What'd you say? What was that?
It's called an amalgamation.
Do it.
It's now you're
fucking it up.
God damn. I need to Google that. I want to use that
I write music
later.
and poetry and stuff like that, so I do the same thing. And you'll be surprised how many people will really think that they just know your whole life.
And they don't.
Off of what you've written. You don't realize that, there's some truth in there, but you don't know which part's what.
You don't. And some of it is fantasy. Like, I mix real with fantasy. I might say something that really didn't. Yeah.
Do you write all your music?
Not all of it. So I collaborate with other writers. And I'm so blessed because, like, the writers that I'm working with.
So you the Drake of the R&B?
No, because you know what, and so it's funny because people talk about that. I think that it's dumb to just feel like you have to do everything by yourself.
No, for sure.
Well, for rap,
for rappers, it's different.
So for rappers, absolutely.
Why is it different?
Let me tell you.
Okay,
No. I was gonna say, I'm gonna tell you the only reason that it's different. I feel like if you are delivering like a rap verse, I feel like if I'm a rapper, if I go to my friend just got, because there are some people that are just good with concepts. They may not be good singers or whatever, but they might come to a concept and then I write it. Like, that's how I wrote Wonder Woman. To answer your question, I was in the studio in DC. My best friend was there, and this random girl that was there with the guys that were there, and we were sitting, and I was like, I want to write a women's empowerment song. You know, what's some things that you do when you feel empowered? And they just started saying shit. Now, I didn't use everything they said, but it inspired me to then finish writing. So, to your point, I feel like, for instance, because of the way rap is, and it's more sing-songy, and you have hooks, and you have to deliver a song, you need help delivering that, because most rappers do not have the talent and the gift of, like, putting together an entire song that will cross over and pop. However, if you're going to call yourself a lyricist, then you got to be that.
Now, Sean, you know better. The talent in rap is the bars. So when like you writing songs, like you might have somebody write a hook for you, and that's kind of different than somebody ghostwriting for you. Yeah. But like it's in R&B, your talent is your voice. You don't have to have ever been able to write, even though it definitely helps because that's you know what I'm saying. It add you write things and cater to your own voice. But it's like if you are a singer, your talent is your voice. Anybody can write a song for you. You can bring that to life and put your own style on it. As a rapper, your talent is your bars, your delivery. So it's like if you don't have bars, how the fuck did you decide to be a rapper? You were just like, I'm a rap.
And it's unfair because R&B and like those genres never started with the artist having the pressure of being the songwriter. Yeah. They just took those groups and put them together. You think about the Supremes and stuff, like they just said, oh, you're pretty and y'all can sing a little bit, but they didn't have the talent or the mindset or the business side to know how to put a song together. They just had raw talent. And somebody saw it and shaped it to be what it is. So it's harder versus rap. It was homegrown. So it's a different expectation. I still don't think it's anything wrong with even somebody being a ghostwriter because somebody might give you a line. I know for me it's happened. I've seen movies and been like, oh shit, and I've included it in like a song. And it may not be like, I'll be back, not that. But it might be a line in a movie. Like there are a few songs that I have like lines or concepts from movies. I don't think it's wrong, but I just think you still, at the end of the day, gotta deliver. So if you do have a ghostwriter, make sure you know enough when they ask your ass to.
Can a singer freestyle. Really have? Oh, you're talking about for rappers.
For rapper, but
because singers, I mean, they have writers all the time, and even what you said to the story. Like when you have a concept, it might be inspired by somebody else. Because Jermaine Dupri just did an interview talking about how Confessions was really
about him.
Not about Usher at all.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, all of that. None of that stuff was true about Usher. That was all JD's story.
You still gotta pin it though. That's my thing.
Right.
The only thing is something inspiring you might be one thing because that happens to me. You might hear a bar in your head and write it down, and later on you might form a whole verse or a whole song around that bar. But it's like, when it comes to, like, the actual talent, it's like, bruh, how did you decide to be a rapper if you don't have no bars? It's one thing if somebody kind of collab with you. Right. If you came empty-handed, it's like...
Because you got to develop that. Like, even now I'm still developing. I'm still learning. I'm still growing as a singer, as a songwriter. So that's why, like, my first album, I pretty much wrote the majority of it. I had, like, 2 other writers. This album, I was intentional. Like, I literally called in, like, a boot camp like Jay-Z. I rented out a studio in D.C., and I called every influencers. Again, it's not always songwriters. Like, I called the choreographers, anybody that I felt was an influencer, people who dress well, anybody I thought that could lend talent. And I said, this is what I want. I made a playlist. I let them hear it. And then we just started the process. But at the same time, there are songs on the album that I didn't write at all. Like, I have my good friend, and she is an amazing artist. Like, I can't wait. I'll get on her later. She's dope, and she could compete with some other folks.
Tell her to come on the show.
I will. But Danny, she wrote Dope Gold. I didn't write that song. You know what I did? I texted Danny. I said, Danny, I need a song that just gives me a little bit of a different feel from all the R&B shit that I've done before. And I need it to be empowering, but I don't want it to be anthem-y either. I want it to just feel good. And literally, Danny sent a voice note to me and to Kevin, and as soon as she sent it, I don't need to touch that song. I'm like, shit, that's my song. Thank you. God bless you. Like, thank you. On other songs, like Make Me Forget, I came up with the concept in my voice note. Like, that's me singing. That's the original voice note of me singing the melody. I came up with the melody, and I had a half of a verse. And it took 2 other singers to come in and to help me finish it. So it depends. And I think if you push your ego aside and just understand, like, this is a conglomerate of people. Like, I have people that now I'm not responsible for getting them to a certain level, but I feel that way. I feel like I'm the core of all of this. So you have the producer, the choreographer, the manager, all of that, and I'm the core of this. And I make this work so that all of us, when we elevate, they elevate too. So I never, even though I'll be like, save the best for me, but I never look at my producers like funny when they're working with other people. That's the point. I'm supposed to create streams of income and opportunity for them because they lend their talents to me at half price or no price sometimes because they see something in me. So it's my responsibility to lift it up here so that they can do other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of who wrote it, you be bodying the motherfuckers.
Well, thank you.
Do you
on that.
How does someone contact you, like, say if they want to you as a feature?
So my management actually, we literally just in all like transparency. So people would DM me and stuff or whatever, and I'm so like, oh, thank you so much. Because for me, it's very like, even though people like my music, I'm still like, oh shit, somebody liked the song. So I'm talking to people and like people are getting excited, and then I would send them to management, and management might look and be like, bro, we're not doing that shit. Like, they're not, that's not good for your brand, whatever. So we have changed the process. So when people DM me, I just send it straight to management. I don't get all buddy because I used to do that and it was not good.
So it's not like a price. It's not like, yo, hey, here $100 for a feature. They have to basically see like the overview, be like, okay.
We have to. I'm at a place now that money is definitely a thing, Jesus, but it's not so much about money all the time because I look at that person and say like, what are they doing? First of all, do I want to be affiliated with what's happening? Because that will follow me forever. Secondly, if it looks like an opportunity, they may not have the money. I've been in that position before. I didn't have the money, but I had everything else. Chucky Thompson, I saw him, he produced for it. Yeah. Chucky calls me the female Diddy in terms of just my work ethic and how I work. He wants to work with me. I don't have Chucky Thompson money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, I appreciate it. But I don't have Chucky Thompson money to be like, here go 10 stacks. I need, but when people see stuff in you, then you get the opportunity. So I want to do the same thing. So it may be a rapper that says, I want you to sing a hook. Well, first of all, I'm going to see if you're good. Because
if you're ass, no thank you.
Yes.
And that's just a personal thing. But after that, like, okay, you're doing your thing, or you creating opportunities for yourself, or you're connected to this person. Okay, we can work something out, Yeah. And I don't just do stuff for money. Like, you could have, it would hurt me. You could have a couple $1,000s and think I'm worthy of that. But if your brand or what you're talking about is trash, sorry.
Gotcha.
Right. It would be we get the money, but
yeah.
Man, we get so many mature guests on that. You could be Little Zane. You want me to feature with somebody? What are we talking about?
Yeah. See, that's why you're wiser than him. Clearly. No, but with that, that wisdom, I know that, you had those experiences, 6 years of marriage. That's not no light work right there. 2 children, like, what is your R&B age, and then what's your real age?
So my age, I own it, right? My age is I'm 32.
Okay.
I'm grateful because
you look great.
I was going to say I don't think I look quite 30.
25.
I appreciate it.
I thought it was like early.
I thought you were 25 until y'all start having what's y'all mascot? What's y'all mascot?
Jaguars.
Oh, y'all say Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Whatever.
No, I mean, I'm grateful. Both of my parents look really good for their age, so my prayer is that I get the same thing. I used to think about that stuff, but now I'm just like, I'm a grown ass woman. I got 2 kids. Like, I'm not gonna hide. Y'all can find out anyway. If I lie and say I'm 25, when you see me down the street in 2 years, like with my 10-year-old, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
Like, damn, she was a hoe.
Right.
She had a baby at 14.
Right.
They say Beyonce lies about her age. So.
Beyonce is 38.
First of all, that was very triggering.
Oh, no.
It was extremely triggering.
I'm sorry.
Because, my son is like our age. Yeah. So there's that.
Well, I said that the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm old enough. Like, if I did have a child, I could have a child in high school.
I did have
I could. Well, I'm just saying, like, but it's real, though. Like, it's a real thing.
See, he was like, wow. They're going to be like, wow, she was a hoe. And I'm just like...
That's what people would say.
People do talk crazy, though. People talk crazy.
Know me, that was cool.
They talk crazy. They going to talk crazy about us.
Yeah.
But okay, but one thing I noticed in the industry, a lot of times the women start at a more mature age than the guys usually start at like 17, 18, 19. A lot of the new artists for men are usually that teenage, early 20s versus the women that come out and they are successful is probably between 25 and up.
No.
That's not true?
No, you got to think of like the Brandy's, the Monicas.
I'm talking about for the most part. Of course, in Escape, they were in high school at the time. I'm talking about... Yeah. But I'm talking about like...
It's like nice.
I'm talking about more so like now. I feel like, I don't know, but most of the times when the women blow, they're usually 25 or older.
You're saying like basically kind of when they hit the height of things.
Yeah, not like when they enter in always, unless they have a cosign like a Jermaine Dupri, somebody that put them, in position early.
I think it's weird.
I mean, think about it.
I've seen a few.
Who's a new R&B artist? Like
SZA, Kalani.
Kalani's young.
They're like in their early,
young.
like in their like 20s, early 20s.
They're like 25 though. I said 25.
They're not 25.
Look at her. Her's like 21.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you going through?
Yeah,
I done
right.
see all
at that
these
age.
young.
I'm like, you
know,
touching me, and you,
Right.
I'm thinking all like the young rappers, like girls really don't come out being like.
Oh, I
City
see what
girls.
you're saying
18.
because you're talking more
City
about
girls.
like what's the guy? God rest his soul, like XXX. Like he was super young. So to your point, I think it is the gender, but it's also the genre too.
True.
Because I mean, and as a whole, like R&B, it's just coming out. I saw Tiana Taylor talking about how, like, you know, she was doing R&B stuff like a few years ago. It's just coming back. So while she was trying to do it a few years ago and nobody was feeling it, now you have her, Kehlani, all of them. So I think it's hard for women. It's very hard because for me personally, I have to teeter the line. So I have to let you know, like, don't play with. I don't even have the patience for people to be playing with me. Like, I'm too old for that. But at the same time, I still have to play the role. So that's where, thankfully, management comes in. They get to be the bad guys sometimes, and I get to just be like, even though what people don't know is it was my call the whole time. Behind the scenes, I'm like, hell no.
They know now.
Well, I'm just saying, but they won't hear from me directly.
We'll edit that part.
Okay, you can edit it. But you know what? I'm even unapologetic about that because I think that, you know, I respect what I do. I will never forget. This happened. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. This happened recently. Now, I try to be very mindful of what I say and what I do when I deal with people. I'm very respectful. Sound men. Like, when you go to a show, my first thing is talk to the sound guy. You want to sound good, you better go make nice with the sound person. And all the people that I work in behind the scenes, especially for me because I'm still up and coming, so they really don't give a damn. Like, you're opening for Brandy. We care about Brandy. We don't care about you. But if they like you a little bit, they'll help you out. Anyway, we were doing a show, and the sound guy was super late, and so everybody on my team was on time. We were ready and set to go. And I don't know what happened that day, but I was so mad. And usually I let everybody else, like, kind of handle it because I'm hands-on. But he said something when he got there, and, like, me going off is like, I'm not cursing and yelling, but I'm definitely, like, a little bit, like, annoyed. Like, they'll know the difference. And, like, I just kind of was like, I mean, we were here on time. Like, you weren't even here because he was getting an attitude because we were trying to sound check. And I'm like, in my mind, like you wasn't even here. If anything, if you come in late, you should be apologetic. Like, hey, I'm sorry, just give me 10 more minutes to set up. He was acting like I was getting on your nerves. I'm like, we paying you to be here. What is your problem? And everybody on my team, like, froze. Now, in somebody else's mind, that was mild. Like, that was nothing. But for me, it was, like, a big deal. Like, we've never seen her act like that. But I was just like, I'm not tolerating disrespect from anybody. I was here on time doing my job. You weren't here. You're not even apologetic about it. And then you think that I care for your attitude. And a lot of times with women and men in the industry, that happens.
Yeah.
So you have sometimes men that feel like they can just do whatever. And because you're a woman, you accept it. So sometimes you do have to, like, pull your balls out just a little bit and be like, yo, like, don't play with me. And then you go back to being nice. Now, thank you.
Gotta let your clit hang.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
As far as all those rappers, all these teeny bopper, you gotta think the industry did buy like a Costco pack of those niggas. So
They did.
we haven't run out yet. Like, it's like at least like it's
Not
like
a Costco.
But even you
100
think
pack
about
of them niggas.
Biggie and Pac, that era, a lot of those artists were extremely young. Pac was like 25 when he passed, and he did like
Both
a
of them
million
passed.
movies, and you know,
like Dear Mama. Imagine a 21-year-old writing a concept song like Dear Mama.
Yep.
But you gotta
I
think
love-
back to like, but in the R&B side, you gotta think like the Brandys, the Monicas, the Aliyahs,
They-
they were
yeah.
14, 15 when they dropped.
Even Destiny's
Maya.
Child, they were younger
Maya
when
was
they
18,
came out.
17,
That is
right.
true.
Destiny's
Destiny's
Child was
16,
15, 16.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
So,
Yeah, right. I didn't think about it like that. Another
course you
thing.
did.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. I was too busy thinking for you.
Yo, one day we're gonna have a boxing match, okay?
Okay.
You and I.
I got gloves. I got
actually
gloves
box,
now.
So I'll fuck you up.
I got gloves now. What's up?
No.
Yeah, I thought so.
Me too.
That one.
It's like, no, you don't want to look like, what you
And
would
a
look
heavy
like.
bag and a hell of a technique.
We get a commentary. Y'all got that nigga on the show. Get him off the show. He talking about boxing women and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
First of all, it's like 80% men in our comments.
No, but that's we
probably
have
knock her
a
ass
male
out.
viewership. Yes, that's true.
She
We have
talk
a
too
lot
much
of
anyway.
majority
That's
male
funny.
audience. Speaking of our audience, shout out to Miami. We do have a Miami audience as well. We love y'all. So yes,
Go to Miami.
Yeah.
Miami, yo.
Yeah, and NHS
Every day I'm
Radio.
hustling.
I'm so sorry for
Hey,
that.
NHS radio listeners.
Yes, but
Shout out Trina.
Yeah.
You don't even shout out the listeners. You just shout out Trina every time.
Right.
One of the things that I've found to be difficult in the industry, not necessarily music, but entertainment altogether, whether it be media and stuff, because, you know, we have to come across paths with a lot of musicians, too.
Sure.
It's very hard for women to network in this industry. And to get favors based on like you know, hey, like let's
merit.
Yeah, off of it, like, here, I'll do an ad on, I'll do an ad on the show if you do this for us, and they're just more so like, yeah, but what you doing tonight? You know, do you get that a lot?
That's happened to me a few times.
Yeah, I throw you a beat, but let's go to
throw me a beat.
Yeah.
And it's very hard.
That's why Sabrae wearing shaft coats now, man.
Yes.
And the only reason
and
why
these little propeller, this her lane right here.
Yes.
You got these ghosts, Whoopi Goldberg, Kevin Wings, Freddie Mercury Queen.
Yes.
We are the champions. Shirt
Yes.
on the spot.
Yes.
God damn, like a damn pigeon down the monument.
But I'm not even wearing nothing long today. I got the buns out because we was having a female
right.
guest.
It's because you a lady.
Yeah.
Because if you was a dude, she would have on a sheath like shit. She gonna have on a graduation coat.
I love it.
That's very true.
I love it.
They're not lying. But yeah, I'm sure that has happened. It's so motherfucking annoying. But yeah,
It happens.
One of your songs. The song that we introed in the show, "Promise."
Yeah.
Has a go-go feel to it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was intentional.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a need to include that in your music because of where you're from?
Yeah, I was intentional about it. I wanted a record that kind of put my own take on it. So I wasn't a kid that was like able to go to the go-go. So I'm actually not like a real go-go head. It wasn't until I started singing in like a few go-go bands and I really learned a lot about the culture. I knew the impact, but I didn't really appreciate it the way I do now. But I also respect it enough to not try to like do a straight up go-go song. So it was just some things, elements in there that paid homage, but it was still my thing. Right. So it was definitely intentional. And, you know, one of my personal goals is I know so many talented people in the DMV, and I feel like we just haven't really gotten our just due for many different reasons. But the point is that I liken it to like football where you have like the offensive line, right? So they protect the quarterback. They protect the quarterback, but they protect the running back. So they're taking the first hit so that the running back can run through. I like sports, so they can run, so they can run through to try to score. So to me, as an R&B or as a DMV artist, like when we talk about quality music and sound and getting quality engineers and doing, producing videos and stuff, it's a new arena for us because usually the artists from here leave. They have to leave because they can't find success. So one of my personal goals was to kind of set the tone. So I may not be the running back, but I might be part of that offensive line to like take the first couple of hits, like to learn a lesson, like, damn, don't spend your money on this. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. So that another artist can come through or a bunch of artists can come through and be successful on an international level for the DMV because it kills me to see how much talent. I have so many friends that would like sing circles, dance, rap circles around mainstream artists. Girl. But we haven't figured out the business side and we haven't figured out the strategy. So I'm making it my personal goal to figure that out. And hopefully if I'm able to inspire or help anybody else do it, by all means.
Why do you think that is? Because I feel like we haven't mastered that on the rap side, but like there's a lot of huge R&B artists that come from this.
They have to leave. They never stay here.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I don't knock them for it because that's what you have to
do.
It's a crab mentality.
Until you create an opportunity.
Right. Well, and part of it too, I feel like people like Wale, Raheem DeVaughn, like they have done their best with trying to put the DMV on a map. And even other people, I mean, you have people like Tank or the Braxton stuff. They claim they're from here, but really, I mean, they still live in LA, and I understand it because the opportunities are in LA, the opportunities are in New York or Atlanta. However, it's not just the crabs in a barrel. And it's easy to say that, and that's true. But you figure if you only feel like one artist is going to get up out of here, you might be one of them crabs like, hell no, it's me, I'm coming up. The problem is that we haven't learned is skipping steps. So we want to have the success, but we don't have enough quality producers or musicians that are here. When you talk about go-go music, how much money would or could we make? Like, I love Sugar Bear, right? Like, he has an original song that was in a movie. Spike Lee doing it, but so when you think about it that way, it's creating original content and then producing it so that other masses can hear it. That movie is based in New York, but they loved it enough to put it in the movie, even though it's a go-go song. Crazy in Love the same way. Rich Harrison is a producer from here. He produced Crazy in Love and heard the drum sample from that original song, but he knows go-go because he's here.
Right.
The problem is that we just haven't connected the dots to work together to say, let's come together. And that's what everybody else does. New York, Atlanta, Houston, LA. They all kind of come together and they pool the resources.
And I always say that because...
Think so?
No.
What do you think?
Really?
No, I never, because like DC is like 24 square miles. It's so small. I feel like it's hatred, like, and you would know more than I.
No,
this is me from like a consumer standpoint. Just like rapping, like I think of like all the ATL rappers that are like just like beefing. We don't have like any major like New York. You can walk into like 10 different major labels. You know what I'm saying? Like to me it's the mecca of like hip hop. So it's easier here.
It's the opposite.
Go like with rap. Nobody wanted to be rappers. Everyone wanted to be lead mic for a go-go band. Right. So I feel like rap has just been taken off. Like when I think of like the old like rappers, no one really paid attention to them. Like Wale, that's like within the past 10 years. Yeah. You got to think New York, like since like the late 70s, you think of the Curtis Blow. So they have just been vested. And then like even like with the ATL, you have the Little Johns, you have like all the producers and you have labels down there. So it's like, it's just a tad bit different because, not to get in this because I like Wale as an artist. Artists from here don't respect Wale. So when you look at the DMV area, they're like, well, artists don't even respect you. Why would I go look for talent there if y'all biggest artists, you know?
Well, let me tell you, it's actually
why he don't get the respect of.
I'm gonna tell you that actually that narrative has changed, and I'm gonna tell you where we're gonna lose. A lot of half my management team is based in LA now. So even though they're from here, they live in LA. There are a lot of talent scouts that are coming to the DMV to look for talent.
Gotcha.
The same with, I have a friend, he plays the bass, he's an MD, but he's played for everybody, Jill Scott, everybody. I went to see him a month ago to see Jill Scott. And I asked him, I'm like, why do you think that musicians on the musician side, why we haven't elevated to be on a national level? And he was like, man, honestly, the DMV has some of the best musicians. So it's the talent.
Everything.
Everything.
You think of NBA
rappers,
players like, yes.
Everything. So the talent is not the issue. What it is what you just said, but it's the opposite. If we looked at the fact that we're small and we have so much talent as a tool as opposed to an issue, you figure if New York, think about how many people live in New York and how many rappers want to be rappers in New York. So the market is like, it's too much there. As opposed to here, if let's just say we pull the top 30 artists. I don't want to share the idea because I think I still may do it. But if we I know. But if we pulled all of our resources and I said, okay, look, I have a marketing degree and you are a rapper. So even though I'm an artist, I'm going to help you with your marketing strategy because I want the DMV to win as a whole. That would change the perspective. But everybody feels like they have to either do it by themselves. It is some of the crab mentality, but some of it is just the education. Yeah. The songwriting summit that I went to, they don't. And like you said, you living in New York, Atlanta, like they have the education. So Atlanta, they just came together. They didn't have a choice. It's the South. They don't respect us in New York. So we're going to come together and create the Dungeon family and have a bunch of rappers come up and come together.
And one of the things, I'm sorry, Sabrae.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So don't cut me off.
I did. That's why I said.
No. I know. I'm just messing with you. No, but to both of y'all point, I always I agree with you exactly, especially when it comes to media. But you have to look at also the companies that left, like BET left and went to, I believe, Atlanta or I think Atlanta. Yeah. You know, that was a strong mecca here for Black media. TV One left a couple years ago or last year. So but what I think it is a great opportunity for Black people to own part of the industry in this area because we don't have major labels here. We can create one. We don't have major production companies. We can create our BET Mecca area here. It's an open market. And we are a major city. Even though it's small, we are a major city.
We have a bigger, but just think about the go-go, what you just said, right? Go-go music has been living for years. My father can appreciate it just as much as somebody today, right? we did not take the opportunity to capitalize on it, because even Chuck Brown used to say, make original music. We're not going to make money doing covers all these songs, but here's what the problem is. It's a marathon, not a sprint. A sprint is, I'm going to go and do a go-go show every Friday, and I'm going to learn a bunch of cover songs that are on the radio so that people will party to it. I'm not knocking that. I did that. The problem, though, is that means you have to be present to make that money. You can't go home. You can't be chilling in the bed and make that money. You got to go to that gig and make that money. Nobody, I'm not going to say nobody, only a few people said, I want residual income. I want to think about this on a long term. I want to invest in another artist. So we put each other in a difficult space. I don't want to listen to you because you really haven't gone that far, but I'm not looking at the talent that you have or the resources or the fact that you are connected. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. We'll continue to, if nobody decides to take the hit, so to speak, or just to learn the lessons and bring other people up, it's going to continue to just be like this.
Yeah.
And we'll never as a unit elevate. So I think we're doing better. We've been having a lot of summits with a lot of artists in the area, getting to know each other. I have a few artists that I could text now. They reach out to me for stuff. I reach out to them. But it's going to take more, and it's really going to take somebody or a group of people to come together and put the money up.
Yes.
And take the time to get the education and say, what is music publishing, streaming? How does this make money? Let's create a label. I made a label. I signed myself to my own label. So I went out and did the work like that. So on one hand, I took the L because I could have been out doing more promotion or spending my money on videos or more videos. But I took my money and took the hit of creating an actual label, signing myself, getting a real entertainment lawyer, not boo-boo that, works down at the paralegal office, but went through all of those steps so I could protect myself, but also so I could tell other people how to do it. So, I don't know.
You had a great analogy about the offensive line, like, everybody want to be the running back. Nobody wants to make that lead block and fall down so the running back gains those 30 yards.
Correct.
I was, maybe like 2 years ago, Ludacris was had an interview, and he was like, yo, when people were reaching out to me, like, we don't charge for verses in Atlanta. Like, you will literally have everybody who's really on the same page, because honestly, to me, not knocking any rappers from here, but if you're not a Wale, a Shy Glizzy, a Fat Trail, IDK. Like,
nobody
you don't
should
have
be charging
artists. So how can you say that you're trying to help? And y'all that knows this, you know how to, like,
trying to hit heads.
Yeah,
like,
you know how open mic goes.
Oh yeah.
You support your man. As soon as your man go, you leave. You're not supporting all the other artists.
And
so
that's
it's
if you was
the
there to
other-
support them. Because if they don't let them get anybody with any type of recognition on the bill, it's like literally like I've been to open mics here back in the day. And I'm talking like 06, 07, 08, whereas they got Jim Jones to come down, and you got
and
like
nobody showed
but you
up.
got like 4 of your local artists, niggas who got talent, rappers who doing their thing, and Bama's is real mediocre. You're not supporting your own local artists for free, but you'll come here and pay to see Jim Jones. This motherfucker showed up high as a bitch. He leaned against the mic stand. He did half of We Fly High, and he was out. He was 3 hours late.
Yeah.
And this is what you pay for, but your local artists put on a show, and y'all niggas act
And
like
I invest, like, when you're talking about show, I have dancers. I just bought, like, this really crazy lighting system because that's my thing. Every artist to me has their thing. My thing is performing. So I invest a lot of my money into the performance aspect, the costumes and all that. That's my thing. But to your point, like, nobody should be charging anybody for any person.
We
right
got
now.
charged $100 for an interview before.
A nigga to charge for
an interview.
I'm not going to. A nigga charged me $250 for a verse. I said, nigga, I'm better than you. I was just trying to, like, link up.
Yeah.
But who got a less following than the last person?
Yeah. But now on the flip side, what I will say is people don't look at it from a business perspective, which goes back to the business and the education. I don't think anybody, like, outside of the people that you mentioned, including myself, like, I'm charging you to do a verse for what? I haven't gotten to a level where I feel like, oh, you need to pay. At
like
the
your
same,
cosign matters.
Right.
Like,
but at the same time, I also look at my producers, right? I got a quality project. That's years of them learning, studying, buying equipment, all of this stuff. So there is a price. So I think what you have to understand, when back to your original point of, like, leveraging stuff.
Yes.
Okay, my producers, they should charge me a certain amount of money. But because they see my work ethic or they see something in me, they may not charge me the same way. Or they may say, okay, well, I'm going to charge you this, but you can make payments instead of paying 10 stacks off the break or whatever.
And then you see the long term. They know they look out for you when you come up,
correct.
that you're going to in turn look out for them.
So then that means that there has to be a quality level of education and musicianship in me in order for them to see that. So a lot of artists, they don't have that part, but they want favors, but they haven't shown, hey, I'm going to work my face off. Like, losing is not an option, because people will invest in you. People will. Now, when you get hit over the head, sometimes that just might mean, hey, listen, I'm going to hit you over your head, because if I'm going to waste my time, I already know you're not going nowhere. I'm going to at least pay myself for your time. And honestly, you got to do that in business. It is what it is. But if we upgrade the quality of music and musician, a lot of times we have good songs, but we don't invest in vocal producers. Like, I have people, the people that help me write the songs are like Grammy-nominated writers. Now, I'm blessed to know them, for them to want to lend me their talent. But it's hard to go from that, and now you go to something. You can't go backwards after that. So when you understand the level and you respect the craft as a whole, and you say, damn, my producer created this quality product, but this is a $5,000 mic. Like, when does he get repaid in some way for that?
Right.
You gotta respect
that's
it.
understandable.
People got to check their egos at the door.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is totally understandable. And one thing I can say is, for the people out there, if you're interested in music and you might not have, or you may know for yourself, okay, I may not go that far. How can you contribute to the industry in other ways that can help build a foundation? Or if you have a child that might be interested in music, how about teach them the business side as well? Take them to seminars and symposiums or whatever, where they talking about their business side. You never know. They might be like, oh, I'd rather be a tour manager, or I'd rather be a producer, or I'd rather, and they can make that money on the back end, like some of these other groups do, who are usually culture vultures, who make more money than the artists.
And don't
the artists.
And you got to keep your money in-house. Like, I remember when we started off rapping, everybody should have been rapping. Somebody should have been a videographer, because now we got to pay somebody to do videos.
Yes.
Somebody should be making beats. We shouldn't have to go outside. Everybody has to know their lane. Everybody can't be Nelly. Somebody got to be the nigga wearing a mask.
Yes. Everybody, and that's a fact.
No,
everybody can't be Nelly. And here's the other thing. You got to understand that heavy is the head that wears the crown. Like, I have a lot of hard-ass days because remember I said, like, I'm the core of all of this. So that means that you think about it in this perspective. You talk about, like, Beyonce, right? Like, she ain't just up there singing. She's remembering that the lights were supposed to go off right here. Yep. She's got to remember all the music, so she has 20 dancers. Yep. They're just remembering where they have to go and doing the dances. She's remembering that and singing.
Yep.
And the lighting and the costume
and where
change.
the hole is in the
and where
stage.
the hole is, so I don't fall. Like,
and we seen her rehearsals, and goddamn.
Yeah. So,
and she got to get over what Jay-Z did, and that's why she didn't talk to me.
And hold up, and do it every night. So you talking? I heard Ashanti say this. I'll never forget it. She said she had a show, and she had, right before she went on, she found out that her grandfather had died. When you are at a show and you have already signed a contract and you're getting paid, and it's not just you getting paid. Now, you didn't hire your band, your management. You have to do stuff. There have been plenty of times, I talked about it in my web series, where I have literally cried from my house to rehearsal. Cried the whole time, went inside rehearsal, got my shit together. Got to remember this because we got a show in a few days, so I need to remember what we're doing. And then I got back in my car and cried all the way back home. Like,
shout out your web series real quick.
Oh, it's the Wonder Woman web series. So I did season 1 a few years ago, and I was following my family and just my life and how I was managing everything. Season 2, we held on to it for a while because it talks about a lot of the stuff that you asked me about earlier. Yeah. So we were in some talks of being able to release it on a bigger platform, and so that's why I held it for a little bit. But we'll release something shortly.
Something I always wanted to know about performers, and you were speaking about unpleasant conditions and stuff like that. Okay, so when that time of the month comes and you have to dance on stage, does that really affect you? Because I know me in just regular life, I work on my feet because I'm a barber, but I be like tired, bloated, like I'm like a little irritable sometimes.
Don't
like
cut my
does
hair
that?
on your period.
I do my best cuts on my period because I don't talk.
You just fuck it.
Like, you don't even know what I'm.
Now he's thinking back to all his best cuts, like, you bitch.
I was thinking like, damn, that's why you was that quiet that day. I'm like, Sabrae's already. Everything's fine, Sean.
Because you just be like, so, and it's just, it don't be that bad because not everybody, period, is like cramped and all that.
Right.
But it's just like, when you losing blood, you just lose a little energy. You need
I feel
extra
bad
caffeine.
because I don't go through any of these things. I just feel like...
Well, some
Yeah.
women, I know I do. You lose, when I lose blood, I lose just a little energy. I might need some more caffeine. I can still, I can go to make it, but it ain't as comfortable as it is when I'm not. How's that?
what?
Dancing and stuff.
When I
could imagine.
perform, I used to hate when people say this, but I get it. From the moment that I start to the moment that I finish, there is... Even when I've literally gone to a show and been like, I don't want to perform. I hope they cancel this show because of something else, period or not, whatever. But once I start, there is like a different, something
like
kind
a
of...
Sasha Fierce effect.
Not even a Sasha Fierce. There's just a level of like adrenaline that comes up out of me.
Okay.
A lot of times I don't remember what I did or said.
So you don't remember, you don't feel
So
any
I
of
don't
that.
feel
Okay.
anything. But then when I'm off stage, I'm like, oh, Jesus, what did I do? So like,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
I will say, like, especially if it's like a huge performance, and that's happened to me. Right before I opened for Brandy, we were sound checking. I went outside to like greet people in the crowd. I always try to do that to just, get to know people. Y'all didn't come to see me, but I'm opening up. When you come in, hope you enjoy the show. And I have inner ear monitors that, custom inner ear monitors that cost me a grip. And they got crushed. You're talking about the biggest performance of my life because I'm opening for Brandy, and every singer, like people that are my peers or that I admire in the city are at this show because they're there because they like Brandy, but then they also heard that I was going to be there. They may not even like me. They're there to be like, let's see what she going to do. The biggest performance, and right before my ears crushed, it was a lot going on that day. But once I started, I was
killed
good.
it.
I was good.
Good.
I don't even remember what
You
happened.
adapted.
What's your largest demographic? Because it's interesting now with R&B.
Yeah, so it's that 26, 27, kind of that grown, like that 25 to 35 age range.
Okay.
The young girls like it because they can appreciate it, but some of the subject matters are grown woman stuff or, fresh out of college. I got my heart broken. I understand. That's
Women, that's one of the best demographics.
Absolutely.
Women, because women's gonna spend the money.
And we got money.
Yeah.
We got money. Yeah.
The guys, they got the money, but they will not.
They will spend it if the women want them to.
True that.
Yeah.
True that.
They'll spend it if they want the one.
So we gonna kind of run through these last couple of questions. So I won't hold you for too long, but I do want to know what's one of your best moments meeting someone in the industry.
Who have I met? Tag.
Because I seen you taking pictures with the
right now.
guy from the New Edition story.
Oh, Luke James. I love him.
I see you with a few pictures
super
of
nice.
people.
Yeah, he's super nice. Who I'm trying to think, and I'm not even trying to say I'm trying to think about the best experience.
Have you met Quincy Jones? I just seen his documentary.
I have not, and I pray.
Quincy Jones,
I missed.
Oh, wow, nigga,
I missed
yes.
the opportunity to meet Michael
Super
Jackson.
bad, nigga.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
The only person I didn't really technically meet Whitney Houston, but backstage I was singing background for a BET show, and she was backstage. She was a surprise guest,
That's
and
dope
I
as
just
shit.
I literally
Yeah.
was like, "Where you were?" And I was just like, "Hi," because I was still working, so I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hi," and she was like, "Hey," just like that, and I was like, "Oh." Jesus told me. But
was
the
being so
only
much, I
person...
That was a good impression.
Yeah, but
I can feel
Prince...
her.
Yeah, I think that might have been the best moment because
Yeah.
I would have loved to meet Prince, to have met Prince. I would have loved to, of course, met Michael Jackson. I didn't get the opportunity, but I'm glad I got to see Whitney up close and personal. I think the only person that... I would absolutely, love meeting, like Beyonce or somebody like that, but... Yeah, I don't know. Other people that I've met, it's always, they're always nice and personable, but, I don't have, this, hey, girl. Oh, actually, I take that back. Lettucey. I recognize Lettucey. I still work at TGI Fridays in Bowie. And she came in.
I knew you from somewhere.
No, that's where you
fucked
know.
up my wings one day,
Oh,
Joe.
please.
Like-
I knew he was going to say something. He don't even remember what he's talking about.
Exactly.
I
He's
used
gonna
to work
cut
at
this off.
TGI Fridays in Bowie, and
Yeah.
Lettucey came in. She was dressed down, and she like, I recognized her. I was a fan, so I was like, I'm not gonna make a scene, but I just wanted to let you know, I really, girl, she thinks so. Sad little something. But I said, you know, it's so nice to meet you. I'm not gonna make a scene because I know you're probably trying to be incognito, but you know, it's nice to meet you. She was like, thank you, and she was actually very genuine. And then later, like a few weeks later, I guess she was here for something. I was in Walmart. I'm always in Walmart, damn. And it was like midnight after work, and I see her walking through getting a few things, and I was like, I met you a few weeks ago, but, you know, I just wanted to say hello. She was like, how did you know who I was? And I was like, I just knew. We stood there and talked for an hour and a half about music. She had been doing, my god sister was on the original cast of The Color Purple on Broadway, so she had done, like, the workshop. So we were talking. She was like, I know her, and we were talking. It was a very, you know, she gave me her number, and we texted, but I still was funny. Like, I ain't trying to really just be, you know. But it was, that to me was the most genuine interaction I had with somebody, because, I mean, she could have been like, it's so nice to meet you too, I'm just trying to get my toilet paper, you know. But we literally stood in Walmart at like midnight just talking. And it wasn't like, I'm such a fan. It was about music and industry, and she was giving me advice and send me your stuff and, you know, giving feedback. So you don't get that often.
That's tight.
What Walmart was this? I want to run
Bowie.
into.
It was in Bowie.
Oh yeah, you bougie. I work on
Beyonce for
Hell no.
You know, I'm at Solange backstage at Rock City. I'm gonna see what I can do about this.
Okay, yeah, I'm here for it.
No, it was really just more like, I was like, yes, queen. And she was like,
that's dope. I've met a lot of like men in the industry, and then when I meet them, it kind of like tarnishes like.
And you don't,
like,
listen, somebody told me a long time ago, not just women and men.
Don't meet your heroes.
It will change.
Yeah, that shit, like, I'm like.
That's happened to me. I won't say who, but it's happened to me.
Because I try not to be like, I've definitely like reached out to the bodyguard, hey, I know they're just chilling, but if that's somebody that you looked up to, you're not going to let that moment pass, and they're like, hey, man, what you yeah, what's up? And then they just looking like for bitches, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, little bitch ass nigga.
Yeah.
You
It's
wasn't that
weird.
good
I
anyway.
feel
Don't be that
funny
guy
about
that's
that.
like, hashtag we working.
Yeah.
Me and Big Bro working.
Nigga, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
I feel weird about that because I watched this documentary of Britney Spears, and she was like pulling up somewhere, and like people found out she was coming. They were rocking her van. I'm like, damn, like you gotta live like that day in and day out. People using long, you know, zoom lenses to take pictures of you in your private. Can you imagine if people were taking pictures of us in our private
Do you want
moments?
to be that famous? Because I just want to be hood.
I don't
famous.
desire.
I just want to be like, oh, at the Chipotle.
Like,
oh, that's Sabrae at the Chipotle.
Yeah.
Come to the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, slight famous, not too
I like
much.
this level of
You
fame.
sound like my best friend Michelle. She was like, I don't want all that. I just want the money.
I like
I want a
this level
slight
of
little-
fame where I'm at like Sean's pool party. Somebody like, is that wild ass y'all?
I don't think I accepted that if things go, not if, when things go the way that I
Yes,
want them
own
to
it.
go,
Own it.
Own it.
then it comes with it. I don't necessarily desire to be famous though, because like it's a lot that comes with that. It's a lot.
I want all that.
It's a lot, but I mean, you figure your ups and downs, like all the mistakes we make, or everything. That stuff is, you know, I'm grateful. I'm glad that I didn't make it when I was younger. At first, I used to be like, oh, I wish, because I've been doing it so long. But I'm like, damn, like I wouldn't. And okay, or I might not be the person. I actually like the woman that I am right now, and I don't know if that would have happened if I would have made it at 19 and
Right.
all of my experiences being on Front Street. You can't even do anything without people like having something to say, taking pictures. And then when you think about people out and about, like I think about that now with my kids, like what if I'm just at my kid's recital and I'm just trying to not be Patrice Live, I'm just mommy. On one hand, you respect that people see you and they're like, this is my only opportunity, I want to get an autograph. But then on the other side, it's like, but I don't always want to overshadow what my kids are doing because of what I'm doing. So how do you protect that?
People will be
gonna be
like,
a challenge. Yeah, girl.
And you don't
look,
want them to have to live that lifestyle. That's the downside.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And you think about your friends, too. I'm like, I used to think it was extra, like, when you think about, like, people sneaking through the back. I'm like, yeah, because, like, what if my friend is having a baby shower and I want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
But it's in a public place. And I want to be there, but I have to sneak in the back to get there. And then now I'm taking over the baby's birthday party or baby shower because now I got to sign autographs. So then do I not go and not support? Or do I make concessions?
I seen Rihanna be a bridesmaid at somebody's wedding. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Nobody give a fuck about your wedding.
Eminem, I guess.
She tried to play the background though, for real. She really did.
tried.
She tried to like be in the
Rihanna,
cut.
though.
She didn't try to like be all out in the forefront,
Rihanna.
but it's Reed. Like nigga, you
Yeah.
you
See
in the
that
front.
forehead.
I can't.
Eminem, like his daughter graduated and he wasn't even like in this like he like stayed in the background. He said he did not want to, you know.
Yeah, because you want your baby to have that moment. You don't always, if it happens all the time. Like, we'll see what happens.
Imagine having Rihanna at your wedding though. Like, bitch, this is not your day.
Right.
Right.
Hey, fuck this wedding.
I'll be like, Riri, I love you, but you're not invited.
Come to the reception at the end, perform a song.
Bitch, I will telecast it for you. Somebody will FaceTime you.
So if Rihanna was to be a bridesmaid at your wedding, you wouldn't let her?
Only if she's gonna pay for the whole wedding. I mean, you got the money.
Then it's her day.
Bitch, you're not stealing my day from me. Anybody got time to be like, all the pictures, imagine getting your wedding photos back and it's all Rihanna.
Exactly.
Niggas didn't get you at all. They got one shoulder, they got your shoulder and all Rihanna.
That's funny. Your wedding dress shoulder and her
And then you can't even be mad because it's Reese. You got to just put that shit in the album. Like, well, this is my wedding.
Right.
This is where Rihanna stood next to me. This is where Rihanna.
Where you was at?
Have Rihanna.
Oh shit, that's your ankle.
I was there. You know?
They gonna have her in portrait mode. Everything else gonna be blurred out and shit. What is your favorite song to perform and why?
Probably Dope Gold. Because it has choreography to it. I really dance on that song. I mean, I danced, but that song, I was excited when we created the choreography, and it gives me a moment to like kind of tap into all parts. Like I get a little bit like attitude, but it's still sexy. And then at the end, people are kind of surprised because I'll dance really hard with my dances and then come back and sing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But if you could go on tour with any artists in the world, who would it be?
That's hard.
You know we rap, so if you want to go on tour with
Let's
us.
make it happen.
Right, we gonna go around the Bennett Road.
Stop putting all
Around
that.
the Bennett Road
Don't
circuit.
tell me. We're gonna be at the Howard Theater.
That's the pinnacle, like the Howard Theater. Oh, that's hard. Because
And you can't say Beyonce.
and I don't want to.
Let's say Beyonce.
No. She's excluded because for what you do,
that's
that
a
would be
given.
perfect. It's a given.
It's a given. Oh man.
I don't think all women like Beyonce.
I mean, honestly, I would have said
touring opportunity. It would
touring.
be
I would have said Prince if he were still alive. I just remember he was the first concert that I went to, and I just remember the chills and the impact. Dag, I don't know.
Would you want it to be somebody at Prince level? Because then it's like because they know what to expect and they don't know you. Would it be like totally like?
So it can be intimidating either way. Girl, I've gotten blocked from like B-list artists, like not being able to open for them because they didn't want a female on a show or something.
Gotcha.
So it's happened.
Or you was more attractive than them than they want.
I don't know what
Probably.
it
Women
is,
be
but
hating.
Probably had more talent.
But I will say, I think I would pick an artist on that caliber because I'm always interested in learning. So I would like, after I'm doing my sound check, I want to look at the lighting. How does that work? Like I'm a geek like that. I want to learn so that I can apply it even on my lower level. So maybe I don't have all the screens that Prince has, but if I got my one, I'm going to do it, you know?
Right.
So maybe on that side, but I guess from a popularity standpoint, I don't know because I really haven't seen, if I'm honest, I haven't seen artists that if I went on tour with them, I feel like I would get something out of it. Like the popularity may come, right? Obviously, but I don't know if I've seen that. I mean, like somebody like Chris Brown or whatever. For
that
sure.
would be great.
I saw
that was
him.
a good fit.
But I'm trying to think of somebody like a B or C list, and I'm like, I think bigger. Even now, I'm annoying to people in the city and when I perform because of my requirements. I'm like, I need a wireless, and it's not because I'm being a diva either. It's like I dance. You want me to dance with a cord hardwire mic? No. Even the city is not always equipped for what I do because I have like a trailer video and I have this and sometimes I have to adjust. But like, if I'm thinking about it, I'm like, nobody's really putting together like a show. Like I'm big on like start to finish. Like I care about the intro. I care about how dancers come in.
And that takes you a long way because people pay attention to that detail.
I think you would be lit on like an Ariana Grande tour, and that sounds kind of weird.
I love her new album. I'm not even. I never listened to her
show. My daughter, like I love her, but my daughter is like a huge Ariana Grande fan. So. Last February, I took her to Dangerous Woman Tour.
Yeah.
She had Victoria Monet open for her. And I was only familiar with her through, like, some features she had did for T.I., like, a few years ago or whatever. But a person like me, I pay attention to stuff like that because I love music. So she opened. She did a really pretty good fucking show. You know what I'm saying? It made me want to look into her more. And Ari gave a whole lot of good energy. I feel like you would kill that shit. Because I'm like, okay, her show, I feel like your show would be even better than that. So, I mean, like,
her fans might align with what she
exactly
does.
with your music.
Who, I take that back. I would love to tour with Tank. He works hard. Now, I don't know if it would fit what I'm doing because, like I said, I got dancers and costumes and all that kind of stuff. But I just look at people. I don't necessarily look at just the popularity. Like, what can I get from this?
It depends on the audience, right? No. He got that old lady crowd. Like, they would probably compliment each other because she would bring the younger
You don't even
women.
like women.
You know what?
That.
He's
Stop
married.
That.
What the fuck does that mean?
He's married.
I love Tank. I'm a Tank fan. Don't say that. I'm a huge Tank fan.
Yeah, he
is one of the better singer and songwriters.
You know what? You know what's
genre.
funny about Sean though? You know what's funny about this nigga though? Let us have Tank on the show. He be the motherfucking.
Who came to make
Man, you are so great.
Then you don't know me. Then I thought we were no.
Yes.
You wouldn't have Tank on the show.
Yatta. Yes, we would.
He's 4'11". You think I'm scared of Tank?
Stop that.
He's not 4'11". I met Tank before. He's not.
How tall is he?
I'm a fan.
He's at least 5'10". I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, at least 5'10". Yeah.
So you think I would cop if we had Tank on the show?
Nigga, yes.
I don't give a fuck. You know what? You know what? Y'all right because.
No, Yatta.
It's for the benefit of the show.
He would be like, no. He be like, you know what?
He gonna
I'm
be
really
like,
a fan. I'm a
he gonna be
fan
like
now.
this.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
I'm a fan. He is an amazing songwriter.
You gonna try to get him to on the motherfucking track.
His album is solid.
It is
Sean
fake
as
hell.
It really is.
I liked it too. I do.
Maybe I deserve.
Oh, that was a joint, man.
Yeah. You know, I don't know.
Me, huh? It's like
I don't know how familiar you are with this show. Shout out to the listeners and the viewers. On this show, we do talk race. Okay, you racy as fuck. Okay,
Sabrae talks race, and we just listen.
So, nothing too tough. But I do think that. Well, I want to know: do you think that major labels support real R&B from non-African American Black artists? For example, LMA, Daniel Caesar, Marsha Ambrosius, and then you got the Adeles and all of these other artists that are non-American Black people. It's like the labels seem to push them more, or they seek them out more when there's a lot of Black American R&B artists out here.
Wait, what is Daniel? He's Roman? What is he?
Don't say anything that's going to hurt your
brain.
No.
He's like, he's from the UK, I believe. But he's not a Black American.
He looked like a gargoyle, so I can see why he's from UK.
All of those artists I just named are just not.
It's like you never know they have those accents until they start.
Till they talk. So I think, no, I don't think it's just that. I think that labels are looking for, it comes down to money. How they get it is a different thing, right? Because like if somebody's popping in the U.S., they will take them too. I think when you're talking about non-Black American, they have a staying power. And it happens all the time. It's just the opposite way. For many years, there are many artists from here, even D.C., that leave the United States and go overseas to become popular. And they can't even break a record here. So when you talk about the other way around, it isn't that we lost. I think they're looking at the numbers. Like, if you're already popular in the UK, it's going to be easy for me to bring you over here and make money because I now have the engine. I don't have to go the opposite way and sell you in the UK. You've already been sold there. Adele did the same thing. She was sold there already, and then they said, now we can make money on the U.S. side. So I think that we do have a lot of talent here, but I think that you have the Brits or the people from across the pond, they're taking over. The other side of that is also because it's just different. They like you just said, you didn't even know you like the music. Now it takes it to another level when you figure out that they're from the UK because now it's different. Because now they've taken a genre that we've created. They appreciate it over there. They're doing it well over there. And now for us, when they come over, we're like, oh shit, she got her accent. You know what I mean?
It's like, it just seems to me like they want to hear our R&B artists do like the sing rap thing. Right. But when it comes to soul, like I feel like the guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he's white from the UK.
Sam Smith?
Not Sam Smith. It's another with the red hair.
I know what you're talking about.
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
That's my man.
Tank or somebody came out with his first hit. the one that started everybody wedding. I don't think that it would have blew up.
It wouldn't
like
have. It wouldn't have. I mean, that's just been a long-standing practice, which it goes back to us learning the business, because you're talking about people that don't know anything about music or anything. They just learned and created the laws. At the Songwriting Summit yesterday with Chucky and it was another entertainment lawyer, we talked about that. Like, the people that created the laws for songwriting and streaming and all this stuff, they created them, and they were creating them as we went. So that's why you have all this reform with streaming and all that, and like songwriters and producers are fighting against Congress because they learned. They said, "Oh, it's intellectual property. I mean, you created it, but I know law, so I'm gonna pay myself to own your masters." And people don't understand what that means. It means that if y'all ask me to play Promise as your lead song for the show, even though I didn't write that song, I can give you permission to do that. And you, so even though the producer created it and the songwriters wrote it, if I own it, they can't do anything with that song without my permission. Gotcha. But I can do whatever I want with the song without their permission. Right. So it comes back to education and us pooling our money. It's the same thing with like everything. It's not just the music industry. Like, somebody has to take the time to sit down, learn how to fight against this so that we can kind of take back what's ours, whether it's Black people, songwriters, producers. It's not just about the music. I'm sorry. I wish I could say that it was just about having fun in the studio and shit. It's not. It's not.
I could see it that. I agree more so. I think it was Stephanie Mills. I was trying to look for that clip of her saying that she said that they rather see Black music with a white face.
But they would. I mean, that's more. It's more marketable, and you got to look at the. It's long standing. You got to look at what people consider beautiful, the standards of beauty, and lighter is better, and all of that.
He looks like a Chucky doll.
But I know, but he's white though. You know what I'm saying? So you can have somebody like sexy like Tank who's dark skinned and singing and muscles and all that, and you have Ed Sheeran, and nothing's wrong with Ed Sheeran. I'm just saying you can have both. But it's much better. Now I will say this on the other side. White people love our music, and that's just putting my feelings aside. They know more than we do.
They love everything. No.
When I go to weddings to perform, they know more of the music than the Black people. Patrice. So if you want to talk about appealing to the masses, I can't be mad at labels for appealing to them in that way because they making money.
I went to a show. This is like 2012. To Live Quality was at the 930 Club, right? So I'm like, I walk in there. I'm like, yo. How the fuck all these white people in there? Wow. He was spitting. Them niggas knew every word.
And DMX was at Woodstock, my nigga. Did you see how it was like? It was like a million people at Woodstock.
So it was songs I ain't know, and I'm a hip hop head. I'm like, why the fuck does he know these words?
And I don't. So I can't necessarily be mad at a record label if they recognize that and say, well, most of the world, this is the makeup of the world, and the majority of them are young, white, suburban kids who just want to act out on the weekends and sing DMX lyrics. I'm going to appeal to them. And if I can do it in a way where not only am I appealing to them, but I got a white face attached to it, that's even better.
Gotcha.
So,
because it makes them feel safe when they say all those gangster lines.
What were your thoughts on Chrissette Michelle performing at the Trump inauguration?
Oh my God.
She laying in there thick, ain't she?
No.
Thank you.
It's funny. I opened for Chrissette right.
You're not still cool with her, are you?
I opened for her right. I opened up
Sabrae.
before that.
Okay.
So I thought that it was a very misguided process. Her explanation was, I wanted to pull together. You had all these celebrities saying that Barack Obama wanted us to pull together to, try to. I just felt like without the, I mean, I never thought it was a good decision, but in her defense, I guess I get her trying to like bring it all together. Her and what was his name? Travis Green. They performed like a gospel song and all that.
I don't think that was really the reason. I feel like that was her politically
It was just the bag,
reason.
right? You thought it was the bag.
She needed that.
Niggas wasn't moving the motherfucking units.
I mean, and they probably pay her well, but I mean, again, I think that's still misguided because in the long run, if your main demographic is Black people, then you take the risk of alienating them. And listen, this is just speaking outside of my feelings. if I'm going to alienate the people that's been supporting me, I need to make sure that the people that I'm going to are going to support me long term. So if I'm going to leave my black folks, I need to make sure these white people are going to pay me what I was at least getting paid for the black folks.
The ones who had the most to say never buy her albums.
Yeah. And so that was the other side of that. That annoyed me too.
Because I'm like, if you don't support her, you can't say
how do I get to count her money if you don't go to her shows? You're just saying it because of that. So it's kind of a sensitive thing. I think that it was one of those things that people should have really stepped back. I mean, he's who he is. He's been that way forever.
Yeah.
It's
Girl,
all
take
these
that nigga money.
Because her last album did like the first week did like 10,000.
I got Epiphany.
It didn't make sense to me.
Epiphany was fire.
I listen to Maybach music.
It doesn't make sense to me for exactly what you said. Now, if she is going to that, you know that black people in general are not fucking with that whole thing. You do take that risk of the people. You may not be moving units like that, but who's showing up at your shows?
Nobody. That's why she took the check.
And so I think
she's a touring artist. She's not a recording artist.
She's not a headliner though.
I think that she had to make a decision.
The point is she makes her money on the road. That's the point I'm making. And the people that come out are not.
I think she had to make a decision for herself, though. So on one hand, you damned if you do and damned if you don't, because you can't make every decision based on what your people are going to say.
Yeah.
I think that it was just misguided, and that I don't think she really thought about it beyond the bag and what she thought the moment was going to be.
She even got an interview and said she didn't even get paid that much.
She opened the fridge. It wasn't none of that motherfucker but a stick of butter.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think she maybe. I don't think she had ill intent. I think she had good intentions. I think it was just misguided.
She thought she could play both sides, and it just didn't work.
It doesn't work that way.
I don't think it was that. But I really think that she just. I feel like it was a decision where, to be honest, because I mean, like, Chrissette Michelle is headlining with tours right now. Yeah. Like, you haven't really heard a lot from her. But
before, I think it just came down to her just thinking that she could do more than what she really could.
Yeah.
And that I'm going to cross these party lines. I'm going to show black people blah, blah, blah. And I think it was well-intentioned, but I don't think she realized what came with that. And you have, again, going back to the offensive line, you got to know if you're going to take a certain stance, there are things that come with it. Yeah. There are consequences that come with it. You got to be ready to take those consequences, because it goes the other way. When Beyonce and Jay-Z say, hell no, we not performing, you got to know that you may not be invited to the White House ever again for a while. Or that deal that you did with those white supremacists that own this, that were kind of like, all right, well, we going to make our money. That might end. So any decision that you make.
To say that, though, to be honest, I look at it like this.
They do, because I feel like Beyonce and Jay-Z was like, we're going to wait till we make money.
They
have a big enough bag to turn down anything. I don't feel like she's necessarily in that position, but I also looked at it like I didn't really feel like she was taking no type of stance. I feel like she booked the gig, and I feel like people pick and choose who they going to cancel, because they cancel her for taking that check. But they refuse to cancel Kanye.
But here's the thing. It's the same with me getting. It's the same with me getting booked to sing the national anthem, right? Because it's a very touchy thing. Now, I'll tell you from an artist standpoint, it's the same with the inauguration, Trump aside. To be an artist who gets the opportunity to perform at an inauguration or the White House, that is a big honor. It's the same with the national anthem. Everybody can't pull the national anthem off, right? Yeah. That is one, and it's so crazy. I don't understand artists who don't know it. That was one of the first songs I learned, because in my mind, I was like, people will call you to sing it. Don't mess up like the Jackson 5 and not know the lyrics and be learning the limo. I can't retain it that fast. So on one hand, it's an honor to be able to do it. You, in my genre, like, that's a big deal. Everybody can't pull it off. And it's the same, like, when do you get a chance? When in your artistry how many chances will you get to perform at an inauguration? Not many. Before you're forgettable anyway. You're not Aretha Franklin.
I was just talking to one of my teammates today, and I was talking about how a lot of people from this area, we don't take advantage. Like, we were just sitting. We play flag football in the mall, and we're between the Monument and Capitol. Like, people come, like, their whole lives, they want to see the monument.
Right.
We can drive that motherfucker all day. So if I've never been inside the White House, if I got invited to go inside the White House, I'm going. I don't care who the fuck the president is. I'm not thinking about, like Donald Trump. Like, this is like experience that everyone doesn't, necessarily get to have.
I've only been in the White House one time. I lived here my entire life. And it's the same thing. We have so many things we don't take advantage of, so many historical things and sites that people come from around the world.
We take it for granted.
So, to your point, I guess with the Chrissette, I think it was just misguided. I don't necessarily think it was just about the bag. I don't think it was just... I think it had to do, but she didn't even get paid that much.
But at the time, I think she was only at the last show she had was like at PG Homecoming.
No, I'm gonna tell you what's crazy is
PG's Homecoming.
What's crazy?
That's a community college, by the way, for the people that don't.
What's
live in the area.
crazy? So stupid. What's crazy is the show that I opened for her was completely sold out, and this was before.
Because of you.
No, it wasn't. People did not come to see me. It was before this whole this happened. So she had a following. I think all the people that criticized her were not her following.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I don't even feel like her following was the ones that was really coming at her neck because, like I said, look, at the end of the day, you didn't come out and make some wild, abrasive-ass political statement that you feeling like this bitch has lost it. Yeah. I felt like, okay, get your coin because my thing is, bitch, I ain't finna pay your bills.
Right.
So if niggas want to throw you a check, whatever check they need to throw you, girl, you see them.
But Chrissette and meeting her.
Because where is she at now?
Well,
I mean, the same place she was at right before now.
She's still making a little bit of money.
She didn't take a hit from doing that.
I think she took a hit, but I don't think it's as massive as we think because you're talking about a lot of stuff. Again, we talking about international money. They don't give a damn about that in the international realm. Residual checks from publishing and songwriting. She's super talented, written for other people. So I'm
still streaming her other albums. So there's that.
I think people forget about it after a while because Trump is still such a hot subject right now, for sure. But think about all the other artists that have done great. I mean, think about the Michael Jacksons and all that, like all of them. Think about Beyonce and the whole Survivor and the kid. People hated. Were sending that girl death threats. Do y'all remember when people hated Beyonce? People don't remember that.
I remember.
People hated Beyonce. She even talks about going through depression, people blaming her dad and her for the other girls not being in a group and blaming her, all that. People will get over it. They will. Because it wasn't something that was malicious and it wasn't something, and we're like that, right? We get hot about something, but when football season comes, we still watching football.
Kobe cheated on his wife with the whole rape scandal. People hated him for a year. He bounced back, got all of his endorsements back. People don't even talk about that anymore.
That's true.
So it's not really, it might be a temporary repercussion. And see, Chrissette is easy to beat up on because she isn't a Kobe Bryant. So for us, it's like being a bully, right? Because we ain't going to get mad. We will talk, right. We will beat up on Kanye, but people will still fly out to listen to his album.
Buy his shoes.
Buy his shoes.
His Gildan tees.
And he don't even have to
keep calling.
I'm gonna give it a buck.
But he's a big enough artist that we give him a pass. It's the same with it's Snoop Dogg. All these people get charges and stuff, and we let it pass. Chrissette is an easy target because, to be honest with you, she was more like, I was just trying.
She's not big enough.
I think she genuinely was trying. I don't think it was
like
malicious.
People used her as their whipping boy.
Absolutely.
For all the major artists with bigger names that they should have canceled, but they wouldn't because they gave them that pass, so they felt like, I'm gonna go all out for this one because
think about how we forgave Steve Hart. I mean, and again, I don't think that any of them had ill intentions. I don't think that they went and was like, forget these black people. I think they really thought they could change, and I don't think they realized, like, if you're gonna do that, it's Martin Luther King. If you're gonna be a civil rights leader, you got to know that every day you step out of the house, you might die.
Yeah.
And I don't think she realized that, and I don't think she was equipped to take that type of hit at that time. So I don't really look at it as like her just being, I don't want to rip her to shreds because if anything, it's a learning moment or at least to say, girl, don't jump out there. Next time, wait for Beyonce and Jay-Z to do it first. Come behind them.
And I hate that we pounce on a black woman like that because we don't do the same thing with black men.
Bruh, all. Think about the R. Kellys and all the people who...
Yo, these motherfuckers...
I went to the R. Kelly show and when he was at Royal Farms, 95%... of the audience, women don't fucking care. Yeah, because he made TP2.
I was like, he did a concert at the chicken joint.
He made TP2, so they're not gonna cancel him. I'm like, oh nah, he made Fiesta
and
remix.
them old bitches are still stepping in.
And I ain't gonna lie, I personally think R. Kelly is one of the best songwriters ever.
He is.
So even with everything,
he like I'm gonna say this, write that down.
Right.
He a little
but literally, like he is. So then do you separate? It's the same with Bill Cosby. Like, do you separate? Because
I feel like
when
people
it's
have
pedophilia, you said you don't. You got to lump it all together. Like, no, fuck that.
People have selective outrage, I believe. I think that it's not, exclusively to men or exclusively to women. It really just depends on the situation. It depends on the person. Because I've seen black people go to bat for, a O.J. Simpson, but then will, throw whoever else under the bus at any moment. So
The thing about
'Cause
OJ
he
is
he didn't kill her.
OJ. The timing in OJ. The reason why people go to bat for OJ
yes.
is because of the timing of the situation. Even if you
Selective,
feel like you did
right,
it,
but
they feel like, you know what? Look,
But yeah, it
niggas
depends
been
on a
getting-
lot. It depends on the situation. It depends on the
Niggas
time. It
been
depends
going
on a
down
lot.
for
That's why I
years.
don't think.
Got away with it.
I just think that we have to give a little
glove
bit of
didn't
mercy too, right? Because the same thing with us, when we make certain decisions, the whole world is not watching.
Yeah.
True.
So even though these are celebrities,
Yep.
you would assume that they would know better, do better. You got to think about the life that they live. They're around. First of all, they're around white people all the time. I'm not saying it's anything wrong. I'm just saying like their perspective is not the same. Even a Kanye West, who that's a whole nother thing, but literally like his perspective, like he can't.
Sunken place.
He has a political agenda at this point, but he's still.
But
fucking
I
with
just,
it.
at the same time, I just feel like there has to, for somebody like a Chrissette Michelle, we burned her. And that could have just been a learning lesson. And I feel
Yes.
like we, as Black people, have to do a better job with scolding, but privately. We
Yeah.
will let them see
Yes.
us spank our... No,
Yep.
take
Yep.
that privately.
Cold,
That's what
man.
the white
Yes.
people do.
This
That's
ain't
what
got
They don't. You,
White-
do you
white
think
people
they
do not-
expose? They don't expose each
Nope.
other
They don't.
until they absolutely have to.
Right,
They
and
would-
they
they
still
not-
won't let you talk too much
Heck
shit about
no.
their person.
No.
They're not going to fuck with you, but
Yeah.
in
They
front of
won't
that
help you.
camera,
Yep.
Yeah,
it's still
they-
a united front.
Solidarity in public, scolding in private.
Correct.
And
Like,
then what T.I. said something on the Breakfast Club last week that
He had
really
a good-
stuck out to
he had
me.
a good interview.
He mentioned, very good interview. He said something about we Black people throw things away too fast.
Yes.
You know, they look at jazz music, look at other
Yeah.
things that once we get tired of it or once to do something that we like, you know, even people, we throw them away too quickly when we should, like y'all said, you know, correct, make sure they know how we feel and where we
Yeah.
stand, and they're gonna have to do X, Y, and Z to be shown in a better light. But to the masses, in front of white people, you know, we're not gonna ever let you, you know, go in on our person that bad.
No.
Like we're not gonna do it in front of you.
No.
You know, an outsider.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in that. I mean, even what I said earlier, like when you have a relationship with people, there's an intimacy that you have. There's an intimacy I have with somebody else that's Black because we can relate to a certain. There's an intimacy you have with a past level that I don't believe in exposing people in a way just for the hell of it. Like,
Right.
what is that doing? Me telling the whole world that you this and you're that. That's not helpful to you. It's not even helpful to me.
right, like what do you gain from it?
Nothing.
But I will say, as far as exposing, like a long time ago, I wrote a song, right? It's just not it's my story as well. What I can't.
Sure, but I think think about Bobby Brown and him like putting Janet Jackson. I didn't even get to see the first half of the movie. I just read the book and I knew about it.
Gotcha.
I get that it's your part of the story, but I think that we are all very clear and we know either how to say something without burning somebody or if we share our part of the story, still protecting the person. You don't have to expose somebody to get your point across.
Just
And I
don't
don't
throw
think
their ass
everything
under the
is for
bus.
everybody. So even when you talk about your song, like I get it, right? Like it's the same with anybody. If I'm telling my story, I have a right to tell my story and to tell my truth for sure. But you got to check your intentions, and that goes back to truth. Everything goes back to you and your truth. Are you telling this story because it's salacious and it will sell? Are you telling people that you kicked Janet Jackson out of the room because that sounds like a hell of a story? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But
You ain't
at the-
telling us that's what happened.
Patrice,
Correct. But
you
that's
can't give
people.
me a chance to write my own autobiography.
Right, but
'cause I'm gonna be welling.
But exposing people, like I think about my father told me a long time ago. This woman was in high school with him. She did like some sort of sex tape or something with her boyfriend at the time at 17. Years later, she's running for like a political office and he extorts her. And it's like, if you don't, you know that's damning. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you didn't get, but
that's a little bit.
it's a little different, but what is the difference is that because you like if you don't give me money, I'm not gonna tell nobody. I think it's still the same effect though.
Gotcha.
You are exposing somebody at a time where they may have been making a poor decision.
Gotcha.
They don't want to be
It's
exposed
whack.
like that. It's
It's
whack
weak
to
of
do
you.
that.
You know, it was a great example. If people out there don't know a good example of how to do that, look at some Nick Cannon interviews. He does a wonderful job at telling his story, but also protecting
Protecting the
people
person.
He
Yeah.
real. Everybody say he's corny.
real.
He's a real
To me, he's
nigga.
a
Like,
real
oh,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Corny, but he is real.
Yeah.
what
I
makes
mean,
him
I just
corny
think,
though?
He just has a dweeb sort of effect about him. But he's still real.
There's certain energy. You know, we pick up
yeah.
on
Dweeb
certain
energy.
I need to
But I
swap
think it's
banks, man.
whack for men to even do that. Like, I think it's super whack for men to expose. Like, if you really talking about a woman, like, for what? If you are
So
that
is it-
nigga, so to speak, like,
Yeah.
why do you have to talk about one? And the
Pipe
same
down,
with the woman.
Nick. Pipe
Why
down.
do you have to expose or drop names or say, like, because you know when I smash so and so, I
But
feel
you know
that.
what's
So-
so,
so-
it's outrageous pissing me off because he's not even an exposed type of nigga. So I don't even know. This is not your fight. It's not your fight.
You won. See, you see, I just stepped back.
I'm just saying.
But no, certain, like Nick Cannon does say,
Hold up.
you
When I'm-
know,
His
but I'm
name
about to
because
make a
people
good
know
point.
that
Don't
he
cut
really
Right.
dated. No, I understand.
and then he still protects, he'll talk about a relationship like he was just talking about Kim Kardashian, he was saying, she was beautiful. She didn't have to, she always talked about her insecurities, but she was always beautiful and she was always a go-getter. Like
Sure.
he'll say something.
He'll
but
it's the kiss slap. Yeah.
That's what blew me about Kanye when he's getting mad. I'm like, why he just don't deny it? I said, because if he really did it, then you'll be blown that he said that I fucked her.
Exactly.
He keeping it G.
But then you have somebody else
But
like
he
a
really
Ray
should
J
just
who
not
writes
be
a song
talking
like
about
I
right
Hit It
now. That was,
First.
like,
And
so
that's what
long
I'm
ago.
saying. Like, and I just, to me, I feel like we as black people, but also men to women, we have to do a better job of protecting each other. I think that it's very tasteless and like classless to for no gain whatsoever. You're not in court testifying because somebody said you had to. You're telling people certain things because it's a good story. But at what cost?
That's true.
And then don't add if you have kids or something like that. Now you're telling somebody about somebody else that you're gonna have to deal with for the rest of your life. And you think your kid's not gonna look up and see that? That's crazy.
Exactly.
I don't think we have any type of boundaries, and I think that's part of the reason even the dynamic with black women and black men is sometimes the way that it is because we don't really feel protected. Because
Facts.
we should absolutely feel protected. And so if when I was 17 and I made a sex tape with you in high school, like talking about the example my dad gave me, like, not that you owe me anything, but you know that's only a bad. You're not doing that to be helpful,
But that's
to
a
be
part-
nice.
part of the game.
But don't you think that's what women are doing about men in their past? Like talking about shit that they're doing when they're 18, like 19,
No, but
20?
see, that's different.
You're
Bringing up
assaulting.
sexual assault is different than
That's
I had
different.
sex with you on camera.
Right.
You have
I
no
made
reason
a
to
I'm not
bring
saying
that up
sexual
now.
assault, but like I just feel like once you
Give me an
become
example.
honest, like about something, like say if I got into it with a woman and I hit her when I was 20. I can't be honest about that because now I beat women up. You're not going to say, oh, that's what he did at 20. You're going to say, oh, once a woman abuser, always a woman abuser.
Not if you own it first. You
No, if you own it, then you're putting yourself out there, and then it's like, man, fuck you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the whole.
I give you that because I do think I've definitely, Lord Jesus, I'm not like advocating like that, but I know what you mean because especially when you are young, you can make decisions. Now, if you're talking about me and you had a fight, we was tussling and I pushed you down and you hurt you, that's one thing. But if you talking about I beat my girlfriend up,
Oh no, I'm not talking about that.
Problem,
I'm talking about like
right?
we had a toxic relationship. We were both putting our hands on each other,
Yeah,
and
that's
then it went a
different.
little bit far. I'm not saying, hey, you was just beating my ass off.
I do
like,
think
enough,
that
you know what I'm saying?
think that there should be a little bit of mercy, but I think that that's the problem. It's no accountability, and we just big on exposing each other, throwing each other away. If I don't like you, I'm not with you anymore. I don't give a damn about you. So I'm going to expose you to the world, and I'm never going to give you a chance to grow or be different. I'm going to expose you, and I know that if I release this sex tape and you running for political office, it's going to stain you. I know if I tell the world that you hit me at 20, that's going to stain you.
Right, you also know that doing that gets nothing for you. So what the fuck are you
People
But they don't
want to
do
be
it.
forgiven, but they don't want to forgive people.
Yeah, and then some people just want motherfucking attention. I know that when the show progresses, depending on how when the show gets to a big enough stage, I know it's probably gonna be some dusty nigga out there with a YouTube channel talking about some I hit that back in the day.
Sean, that bitch ass
I already
nigga,
know that
he
shit.
put me out his car.
You already know who gonna start welling on me.
I can think about two or three people that's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? I hit that back in the day.
It's like
about one
Teflon
person.
Don
Hey,
over
you
here.
just gotta be ready for it because it's gonna happen, and that to me is just people who don't have anything. If your
Don't have
claim,
nothing to want for them.
if your claim to fame is that you want to tell somebody what you did with somebody who you don't even talk to anymore, then I mean, to me that just shows you weak. I would never date a man that would even talk like that, right? About a woman, like, well, like what? That's whack.
So, how important is it to speak out on racial injustice? And so usually how artists are now, so basically it's certain issues that they are allowed to speak about, and then there's some that they're not. So, for example, if it's breast cancer awareness, they can type that up. Or if there's some type of crime going on in Africa with young girls in Africa, they could talk about this and pray for Haiti and da-da-da-da. But Trayvon Martin, they really can't speak on Zimmerman negatively.
What you doing with your voice?
Or they can't. Say again?
Hey, shout out C for winning first place on that breast cancer awareness, marathon. Shout out, sis. Go ahead. I had to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's
all right. Yeah.
I'm probably not, to answer your question, I'm probably not as politically correct as I should be. Again, I've lived a little bit, you know what I mean? So I don't feel like I have time to do that. Not to say that there aren't times where I'll just opt out. Social injustice is absolute. I mean, racial injustice. It's absolutely important, but for me, I think it goes back to what I said. It goes back to self. I think that in order to attack the larger problem, we have to internally deal with some things first. I think that when you think about when people talk about the Black Wall Street and all these things, right? Those things come up not because it's a distraction from what other people are doing to us, but I don't know. And I said this to somebody. I don't know, especially Black men. I don't know if we really know the power that we absolutely have. It's the reason that when a Black man walks into the room, the energy shifts. For us, it shifts in a good way, right? For other people, it shifts, right. For other people, it may shift in a way where they feel fearful, whatever. And it's not because that man is bad. It's because they even know how amazing and how we are gods and God, like they know. And so it makes them uncomfortable. It's the same with you talking about Hispanic, like the other side of that. And for us, which we have to understand is a lot of these cultures that come over here, they're willing to make sacrifices that we don't. They come over here and live in a house with 25 people. And so for what I'm saying, I guess what I'm getting to is it's important, but I don't want to focus on them yet. Okay. I think we have issues internally that we need to fix before because it won't make sense to go after them if we're still not united.
Because I just see so many times I'll go on social media, certain different racial issues. If it has to do with something overseas, I'll hear more of a louder voice about that from a lot of artists versus something that's here, especially when they're Black. They may not want to upset this group or that group, or they don't want to be looked at as too radical, but they can be radical about other things that, you know what I'm saying? But I just see that, and I hate that they speak out so much on other stuff when you got something in your backyard. But what I will say, if you don't mind, just a little advice for you or anybody else that is in the industry. If you don't know what to say, or because I know that you ain't gonna go the Lil Wayne route. Oh, as long as my bitches love me, you know what I'm saying. You're not. Gonna, I know that, but a lot of times people don't know what to say, and if you don't know what to say, you should kind of, kick it to somebody. No. Hold on. You should give it to somebody who does. Like put it on that platform. If you on E! News and they're like, so what do you think about Black Lives Matter? You should be like, I will have to let you, you should look up this person or that, because it's a lot of people, not just us. It's a lot of people that are well aware and are so informed on the issues, and you should just put somebody else on, because those people don't get the platform and get that, that push. And that's what I would suggest. If you don't know what to say, just point to somebody who does.
So for me, it's not necessarily that I don't know what to say. I think that anytime,
if you can't say it,
not even if I can't, I'll say this. It goes back to the core of everything that I said. Everything to me, whether we're talking about race, love, relationships, money, business, everything goes back to self. And for me, I understand who I am. This is new though. This is not always this hasn't always been a thing. I understand who I am. I'm raising a little boy who is Black, and we're going to have some very crazy conversations that right now when I look at him, like I can't even wrap my head around the conversations that I know I'm going to have with him that Sally will not have to have with Timmy, right? But what I do want to make sure, and this maybe comes from more of the spiritual realm and not so much the political, like I feel like above all of this is like who I am as a person, why I'm here, and why God created me to be here. For some people, you have a whole lot of people who work within racial injustice, and that is what they do. Yes. I would never try to tap into that. But what I will say is, if they didn't know who they were, they could not even do their job. So when you talk about whether I'm an artist or it's a political activist or the maintenance man that's down at the school, I think that when you tap into self first, then you can actually contribute something to someone else. And for me, I think that we're so powerful, which is exactly what they did, right? They separated us on purpose because they know the power that we have. I think that if we internally, not in front of them, have conversations and understand everybody's role and understand that, okay, listen, I'm going to have to take the L here because I'm going to work to make the money here, to make sure that we good here.
Yes.
Those have conversations because I don't expect them to understand because they don't want to understand.
Here's the thing. It's not that I feel like the artists are doing too much or trying to tap into activism. This white stream media, what they do is very strategic. They make it seem like only our artists represent us on a racial level or on an economic level, all that. They will, go to the artists and ask them about racial injustice or whatever, versus asking the people in the community who...
And they're going to ask somebody who they know doesn't have...
They'll ask Steve Harvey.
Really know about it.
That's why...
Or they'll ask Young Thug.
That's why I had a problem with Steve Harvey. You don't go to the White House to talk about housing if you're not bringing someone who is working in the housing department for Black communities.
Now, let me ask you a question. If they say, do you turn the opportunity down? Let's say that they only invite him and him only. Yeah. We have to then learn as a people to be humble enough to say, all right, he has to humble himself to say, all right, it's only one ticket, so I can't take you with me.
If that's the case.
But he has to be humble. He has to be humble and connected enough with the community to know, let me go to so-and-so and talk to them about the Cleveland Housing Authority. Right. Let me get the 5 points, let me study, so it goes back to the conversation that we had. So that you're not talking about
golf.
So you don't know what you're talking about. So I agree with that. I just think that I don't think you should throw the whole cow away. No. So just because there isn't an extra ticket, I don't think that Steve Harvey should say, if you don't let me bring the Housing Authority Inspector of Cleveland, Ohio, I'm not coming. I think that we have to humble ourselves enough to say, look, Steve, before you go in here, these are the facts.
Yes. He got to seek out the information too.
And he does. But we can also hold him accountable by making that a requirement from the beginning. So I'm never going to go anywhere and speak as if I know. I don't. That's not, again, knowing who you are. I know who I am. Yeah. If I have the ability to touch or be on an interview where someone asks me a question, I want to be equipped with the knowledge. Yeah. But that requires a twofold situation. Right. It requires me to be humble as a woman and as an artist and to take it seriously. Yeah. But it requires other people to not feel like I'm selling out because I said I need the information. I can't take you with me right now, but I need you to give me the information. Right. So it's hard. And I do also think that we got to be careful because you're talking about artists and they're walking in who they are, and they do have a responsibility, but we can't put everything on them either. Because if I
but they know that's the thing. It's not the artist that's the problem. It's the media, and then the artists don't in turn kind of push the conversation in the right direction. Yes. And because it's not that we put it on them. It's the white media.
They do.
They don't go to because they do right because Britney Spears and Miley Cyrus they're not asking them about taxes and the government and stuff like that.
But they ask because they know that we're not equipped, which goes back to what I said. We have to do a better job, but also we have to be ready when they call us to go. Because if they send me to the White House to talk about the housing issues in Maryland and the DMV, and I say, listen, we have programs already set up. We need funding. Blah, 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 blah. And then when I be like, all right, now come on and come to my community. And when I get there, y'all don't have it together because nobody did the research. Nobody took the time. Nobody, or if we get upset, I was talking about this the other day. It bothers me when we get upset. We tear up our own communities. That drives me insane.
Right, go tear up this shit.
But we can't even do that because if we try to go to their communities, they're going to block us because they don't play that, right? And so to me, it's the same thing, right? I remember when I was 7 and I used to hate seeing trash all over, and it just bothered me because I'm like, should I live here?
Why wouldn't you take pride in where you live?
But it's the small things like that, even white people, so to speak, the little things that they take pride in, we may not even recognize. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we need to beat ourselves up about it. I think that those are just the types of conversations that we need to have internally. Right. Because I don't want to go to the White House and be like, come see my friends, because oh, y'all said y'all gonna give us $1 million. Come on. And then when I get there, we haven't done the right paperwork, and they find a loophole to get out of it.
Yeah,
like we have to.
Yeah, and then everything, you don't always have to start from scratch, because there are a lot of people that are doing the work every day. They just don't have that platform to be able to be recognized, and they don't have 100,000 followers. They may only got 20 because they're not that savvy,
or they're actually doing the work and they don't have time to take pictures of themselves showing it. And I respect that so much more. I just it's important for, like I said, it's just important for us to work together. I think as artists, you gotta kind of try to stay in touch. But I do think that we have to support. I mean, you talked about Wale, right? Like, that could be a whole thing, but at the end of the day, like, no matter what y'all say, like, he's one of the leading rappers. So
he is the leading rapper.
So we should be, when he comes here, why can't he come here and like be able to pick 3 or 4 artists from here? Not because he doesn't want to, because they're not ready. Because I'm gonna be honest with you,
it's a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, and that's.
But I'm gonna tell you, but when if he already has not made it to a certain level, because he went and signed with another label, right? He didn't have it to do. He went and signed with Maybach Music. He just got a new deal. If he says, I have other artists from the area that I want to promote, they're gonna look for him to either groom them, or they're gonna look for them to already be at a certain level.
I mean, but see, that's the thing. But you can't. That's another story.
Let's not open that can of worms.
But you're absolutely right about us having those conversations, and we have to have those conversations without deflection, and that's the main issue. Because it's like, not to use social media as an example, but like, we'll go on Twitter, for example, and you'll have a man that'll say, "Hey, fellas, like, black men, we really need to, be mindful of how we treat our black women. We got to protect them." And it'll be that one dickhead that's like, "Somebody please give him some pussy so he can be quiet," and then change it's like, "Oh, but women do this," and it's like, okay, look, we understand that women do this, but we talk, and it's guys will be like, we talking to the fellas right now.
Right.
This doesn't change. Okay, yes, women do what they do, but hey, it doesn't change the fact that we're not making our women feel safe. We're not protecting them. Let's talk about what we can do. Man that is probably guilty as fuck will deflect. But what about women?
Or get mad at him for even saying it out loud. Why you giving away? But you know who it is? Back to the racial side of it. I don't care. I mean, I care, but like, I ain't trying to change their mind, because they don't want to change their mind, right?
Right.
It's the middle people. Because the top people, we already got it. We are ready. We are fighters. We are warriors. We on the line. We need more of the middle people, because it's more middle people on the fence type of people. Oh, yeah. We need them to come over. So we have to pay more attention to the middle, because the top, we already there. The lower level, they don't want to know. So I'm not even going to wait. That's a business strategy. You don't attack customers who spent $2, and you don't worry about the customers that spent $1 million. You talk to the ones that spent $7,000, but they've done it consistently over 5 or 6 years.
Right.
That means that they have the capital, but they haven't completely been sold on what you're selling. So the goal is to take them over to the other side.
Right.
Instead of worrying about trying to convince the dickhead that says that on Twitter. I'm not even talking to you.
People who just
blocked. You're blocked. I'm not talking to you.
They just want their own piece and want to keep it moving.
Let's talk to the dude that liked the status but didn't comment on it, because maybe he feels something but he don't want to say anything.
Gotcha.
That's who we talk to.
That's how I feel about the black community and what we're doing with the show. It's like I'm not interested in converting coons or converting people who don't care. I'm more so people who's interested, who may not have the knowledge or may not have the people around them that's what this show is. That's who this show is for.
And you guys are doing amazing with that. And I mean, and that's what we were saying about Chrissette. Chrissette is that middle crew. I don't know if she got it, right? Even if we kind of like, maybe, I don't know. The job is to get her to come over, not to worry about like the coons that we just know would have been like.
Just the downside of them is that they're just counterproductive as fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just not even the image that you want portrayed out, but they constantly do that and they'll realize just how negative their impact can be as a whole.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
So before we get you out of here, quick game, okay? Sean didn't name it yet, okay? He wanted to say this or that.
It's Patrice's favorites.
I hate this game. I've been asked this game on every interview, and I hate it because I'm
for real.
I hate it.
Never mind. We're not doing this shit. We're not like other interviews. Nah, fuck that shit. I got a new game. I got a new game. Peanut butter or jelly.
Okay, but look, you can ask me that. Because they always ask me about artists, and it's always my favorite.
Either or,
you don't pick between peanut
yes, you do.
or jelly. They go together.
Which one do you prefer more in your bread?
PBJ or bologna.
Listen, if it's in the middle of the night and I'm about to get a scoop of something, I'm going to go with peanut butter.
But nobody gets a scoop of jelly.
Right. So, I don't know.
LA or New York?
Oh my God, I feel like
Listen, I'm not moving anywhere, but if I
Pac
had to
or
move,
Biggie?
it would be LA. See, you trying to play me right
Pac
now.
or Biggie.
DC or PG?
You know what? I grew up in PG, but I have this thing.
Just pick one.
I can't.
DMV.
Favorite.
I've always
It's
wanted to
favorite.
live in
It's
Hold
about
on.
city.
We
favorite.
was going to invite you back, but if you want to answer these questions,
You bullying me. Bullying me. Putting that Chrissette Michelle on me.
She sound like Kanye. She sound like
Classic
Kanye.
go or bounce beats. Like,
I'm gonna say classic. I'm gonna say classic.
this is a rapid fire interview. BMW or Benz?
This nigga
What?
so fucking. We go.
I feel like I've answered this
Benz.
questionnaire before.
Benz.
Let's see.
I probably have
Denzel or Will Smith?
Oh my God.
Oh, that is hard.
Yeah.
Oh
Or is
my
it?
gosh. Are we just talking about acting solely?
Your favorite. Your
No,
favorite.
no. We keep it simple. Denzel or Will Smith?
Oh, that's so hard. Damn, I'ma go with Will. Man, that was so hard. That just hurt my heart.
Why?
I feel like Will has sought out to get more range as an actor. I feel like Denzel is an excellent actor, but I feel like they boxed him in and he let them a little bit. But Will intentionally goes out to pick roles, even if he doesn't do as well or whatever. He
you gonna get different versatile.
Well, that just hurt my feelings.
Okay. Ella May's trip or Jacquees?
Oh, that was a
Hey.
Why y'all do that?
Hey. Oh, but if you don't have any contracts with one of them, you're not gonna.
By the way, when I went to the lounge yesterday, they played everybody except Ella May. They did Jacquees. They did Boot Up by T-Pain. It was
Damn.
just
Did you
disrespectful.
see that guy's
Really?
video where he was like, he got the cheat code for hitting Jacquees notes? And he was like, you just got to be able to go, He was like, gotta ride with my gun. I want safety.
No, I don't know. That's hard.
Come on,
It's
this
okay.
is a slow ass rapid fire.
All right. I'm gonna say LMA.
Oh, that was politically
'cause
correct.
you
You know you
has
like
to be-
Jacquees.
I love Ella May's music, but
They
Jacquees.
photoshopped him onto her little album with the track listing that she had, and they said, "I don't own the rights to these songs, Volume 1," with Jacquees on it.
I'm fucking done, bro. I'm
Patrice,
fucking
I
done.
know.
orange juice, pulp or no pulp?
No pulp.
Oh no,
I can get down with the.
orange juice.
Apple juice.
My
all
nigga.
day.
See, she,
7-Eleven Tropicana apple juice at 1 a.m. is the best. I'm just telling you.
Let me see if we get the.
Especially
You mean
if
like
you're
this
drunk. but I need the bigger one. You need.
I mean,
the
I
bigger
had the
one.
small one because I was coming on the show.
Coming over, especially if you drunk.
Yeah.
It's a win.
Henny or Douce?
Actually, Hennessy.
Oh.
I'm going with
Over Douce?
You lost
Get out of
me.
here.
Now this interview is over.
Because I'm an old head, and my father and them, like, they all drink that.
Okay, Remy or Henny?
I was trying to drink that.
I would do Remy over there. I would do
okay.
You want me back?
You back. You back.
You want me back?
Cardi or Nicki?
Oh, that was a good one.
Sheesh.
That was a good one.
Uh,
Besides all the corny answers, I mean, nah. Overall, fuck it. We not putting no variables in it.
I
Yeah, no,
on the music.
I go with Nicki.
Okay.
Jay or Nas?
Ew, y'all ain't you getting over a
Damn.
cold shit.
Jay
You
or
are
Nas?
trying it.
Jay or Nas?
I'm gonna go with Jay though. But
Okay.
you trying it though.
We're blood brothers.
No, trying it.
All right.
Gotcha. We just had to throw a little, you know.
We
Trying
had
to spit
to.
it fast because I was giving
Cat
us
Williams or Kevin Hart?
Ooh.
Ownership. Own or be owned.
Oh, it depends on what we're talking about.
No, we not. Look,
Right.
Cat Williams, Kevin Hart. Pick one.
Own nothing or be owned.
Who's
and
making
own
me
nothing.
fun? Who's making me laugh all night?
I don't know. I just said I don't know.
I'm gonna actually say Cat Williams.
Okay. I forget.
Okay.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You right.
Me too. I agree.
He's
Okay.
funnier.
Gotcha.
Michael B. Jordan.
Chadwick Boseman. It's like,
Wait, Chadwick? Nah, he not. They not.
No,
the
you
same
gotta do
line.
the Black Panther.
Marshala Ali.
But we already know you pick if you put him in the mix.
Marshawn
I was just
Ali.
talking
The nigga
about him
from
earlier.
The Moonlight, the OG nigga. He was in.
It's something about him that is absolutely sexy to me. Over Michael B. Jordan because it's a grown man thing. Like Michael B. Jordan is still kind of young to me. He's like my younger brother's age. He's handsome, but like I don't know. It's something about a man that's just a little
So you like the Idris Elba. You like the Idris Elba type. Okay.
Well, Idris is cool, but I'm saying like to me, I need some new me, and I don't like real pretty men.
You like ugly, cute niggas.
No. I like
you're not gonna be more beautiful than me, nigga.
Well, not even that, but I like a man that has like a little scar or something. Or you got a little gray,
a little imperfection. You said a little gray.
But no, I'm saying I was telling my friend, he was like, I need to die. I'm like, don't. Like to me, that's like for a grown man to have a little pepper. That's sexy. That's sexy.
Yeah, I feel you.
Keep it. You look distinguished. Y'all trying to look like little. Yeah.
Don't try to look like midlife crisis. Like
right.
I understand.
That's sexy.
Dang. So, let's see.
No Disclaimers podcast or any other podcast.
Industry guy that's low key but about his money. That's probably retired. I always say that the best time if you want to date an industry dude is after his prime is over. Sure. But or regular guy with just like but he high up and he makes decent bread.
I probably would pick a regular guy.
Regular guy?
I prefer it because the industry is my business. Mm-hmm. And I told y'all I'm traditional, so like when I'm working, I'm the boss. Mm-hmm. When I want to come home, I want you to be the head and the leader and stuff. I don't want to have to be that. And if I am, then it's probably not gonna work out. Yeah. So I want to be able to switch, and I want to be excited for you. You're a doctor. Oh my God, I'm your wife. I'm here waiting for you to get the award. I don't want us like in the same like. My producers get on me all the time. Mm-hmm. They think I should date somebody in the industry and all that.
At least for a little fake relationship. I'm all for the fake relationship. You gotta do what you gotta do.
She's not trying to see her future.
Mad Chef or CFE?
God damn, Sean.
I didn't go to the Go-Go's like that. So I can't tell you. I would pick the Mad Chef because my friends went there, but I did not experience that.
I respect that.
Okay. I mean, I did. I'm just saying.
You have to stop
Byron was not, my father was not having it.
He like the neon or brandy wine fire.
Hold on. Nah, this one mess you up right here. Ebenezer or First Baptist Church.
Oh my God.
No, you gotta do Evangel Cathedral or First Baptist.
I got tired. Y'all crazy. Y'all are crazy.
Oh, I'm
scared to look back at this interview.
It's okay. Keith the Bad.
First of all, don't be coming for Keith Battle because he is the truth, okay?
Nah, we don't.
DJ Mustard or Mike Will Made It.
Ooh, that's tough. I'm going to say DJ Mustard.
You better, because look at LMA.
Well, yeah,
he
but
took her from
look,
nothing, because it's nothing unique about her and her voice.
But it took them a year and a half to break that record. She released that record last February.
Yeah, it was a minute ago.
So to me, that just shows the grind work. So even with somebody that has money, clout, industry, all that, it still took them a year and a half to break the record.
And even then, half the fan base thought she was saying boot up. So it was like half crackheads. Anyway.
Your next single, right? R. Kelly writes it or Babyface writes it?
Babyface. Why would you do that?
Because this is no disclaimer.
You can separate the art from the artist.
Or no urine.
So,
she just brought it back. Now
R. Kelly or Baby. I said Babyface. Was I saying sacrifice?
No. I don't know what the fuck you were talking about.
R. Kelly might write me some hot shit though. I ain't gonna lie.
Write the shit out. You just better.
It's gonna be about vegetables and
meanwhile, Babyface only gonna think of you on 2 occasions.
You better just put some cotton in your ears.
Oh, the deal.
See, that's why I didn't want to answer this question. Y'all set me up.
Hey, that's day.
But Babyface is dope too, though. I don't know.
That's some smooth shit.
Yeah.
I don't think all day, but day
that's
or night.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think Apple or Android.
Apple.
All right.
My nigga. My
interview over.
That's because your green popped up earlier.
Well.
My bad. Yeah, I got
But I think that was good. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
It was so much fun.
And we are so glad that we could give you the best interview of your life. Because I know that it's a lot of interviews, but now I feel like you've done enough. I feel like we did a great enough job so that anybody that want to interview you next, they probably like, damn, they ask all the good questions.
I will say that you all definitely, and this is no disrespect, you all have definitely asked some very good and interesting questions. So
we want to know more than just
we really appreciate
for
it.
sure. I don't want to keep talking about the same things.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been singing? We have to do that, but no, I appreciate you guys for having me.
I love your music.
Well, thank you. I
we do.
appreciate
You're
it.
surrounded with some good people. So,
You know what I remember?
What?
This is gonna be a throwback, and you probably
Oh
gonna
my
laugh.
gosh.
Control freak.
Oh my gosh. How do you know that?
Because
Yatta don't forget nothing.
I don't. I really don't. I remember.
I want you to forget that.
And we don't be inviting people on here that we don't fuck with.
But seriously though, and it wasn't bad. But you've grown. Like that's the type of stuff that you reference.
Do you know that I was
growth,
like 20?
Yeah, that was like so long ago.
Oh, so 4 years ago.
I shot that video. Right.
Your
hey,
R&B
tell
age.
it. We shot that video at my old college, Hofstra University. My friend Walu shot the
smart,
video.
Smart.
Yeah, I remember this from when I was actually active on Facebook.
You
so,
silly.
You know.
But Walu, who now like does videos for everybody, everybody. Walu, like I was his first music video. We shot it on campus without any permission at Hofstra, and I wrote the treatment for the video. But it is growth because that was then, and like all the videos that I have out now, I wrote all the treatments for. So like,
which is so funny. Like I really like.
I can't believe you know
when
that.
I stumbled across, like no, seriously, because you know, like you have that hiatus from people in high school, and everybody starts reconnecting on social media, and it was just like, oh my God, she's doing music,
that's crazy.
She was fire, son.
Oh my gosh, we drove. I still got to do thuggish stuff like that though. We drove up to New York, did it, and drove right back. But I still do stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming, and we are so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And we hope that you come back in the future.
Absolutely.
I know you're going to have some bigger things popping off. But for now, let people know where they can check you out and what you have coming up.
You can follow me on Instagram at Patrice_live. This is October, so we have a goal of 150 shows or performances for the year. So we'll see if I reach that goal by December.
You will.
31st. I believe it. We got stuff on the books. So that my album is out, available on iTunes, Tidal, Google Play, all that. Wonder Woman. Both of my albums, Wonder Woman, and then my other one, Ghost of Boyfriend's Past. And I'll be releasing the Dope Go video very soon, as well as the second installment of Wonder Woman, the web series, which will follow a lot of crazy stuff that has happened in the last 2 years. So if you've been following me on social media, you know some of that stuff, but you'll see it.
If you ever do a reality show, just invite us to come on a little bit sometime.
Oh, absolutely.
So
we're going to we'll have to do this interview all over again as if we never did it the first time.
I'm going to be your ghetto best friend. Y'all, Don't go this fucking
I'm here for it.
I'm ready to leave so I can go listen to it in my car.
I'm here for it. Thank you. I appreciate it. All that good stuff. But thank you guys for having me. This is definitely one of the most fun interviews that I've done. I feel very relaxed. Relaxed. I can't remember what I said. I'm nervous.
Imagine if you would have had that wine in you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, thank you.
See? The soldiers of the squad, we took that for the team.
No.
Sean, close us out, please.
Of course.
With the song.
I'm not doing all that.
All right, go ahead. I'm just joking anyway.
This is Patrice Live. I'm Sean. This is Yatta. This is Sabrae. And this is
No Disclaimers Podcast.